3, 2, 1. The Hangout is live. All right. There's going to be a little bit of a delay, so we'll be popping up live for everybody right now. Let me pull up. So I've got the live questions. If anyone's got questions, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Primal Edge Health podcast / videocast. I am here with. Let's see. I got a video. I got myself. Hold on. What's up, everybody? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had an echo, guys. I'm here with none other than Jason Whittrock.
What's up, everybody? Good to see you. I'm super stoked to be here.
Right on, right on. So we had some technical difficulties.
That's my fault.
Both of us are clearly not experts in the use of technology, but
you more than I am, though, bro.
He says I'm worse than he is.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
All
What's up, dude? How's the audio, everybody? We got good audio? All right. Cool. So we got a bunch of people watching live. So I'm here with Jason Whittrock. He's coming at us all the way from Colorado. We're over here in the mountains of Ecuador. How's it going over there, bro?
Dude, it's awesome. We got snow on the ground. It's getting a little bit cold. We dodged winter for a while, but now I feel like it's coming for us. How's life in Ecuador, though, bro?
Life's good today. Life's great. Let's see. What did we do today? Today I woke up in the morning. I was a little bit groggy. I had 2 nights of Ryder waking up at 4 in the morning and crawling over to my bed and waking me. Like, I was already awake, kind of. He likes to crawl over to my bed and kind of just like molest me a little bit and make sure that I know that he's awake. And he just like, he'll lay there, he'll snuggle, but he just lays there when he's awake, and then you fall asleep and then he moves. So
you have how many kids do you have? We
have 2 kids.
I thought Ariana was your only one. I didn't know you had 2 kids. Right on, man.
Yeah, our son Ryder, he was born about 1.5 years ago.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got a daughter and a son.
Paxton's age.
Yeah. When was Paxton born?
7, 6, 16. So yeah, he's about 1.5 years.
Okay, so Ryder was 10, 20, 28, 16, I think.
Yeah, all right, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
And how old is Ariana?
Ariana's 5.5 years old. She'll be 6 pretty soon. And she's like, she has the attitude of a 15-year-old, though. It's great.
That is great. Paxton's starting to develop his little personality, just like I'm sure you see in Ryder. So I don't know what to expect, man. But
Isn't it
fun.
crazy?
It's
so fun. We get so disconnected from that energy, right? Like we age and we become like, we're still big babies, but we forget. And then we get a kid and we're like, oh yeah, that's me again. Like I'm like that. I'm just a little baby who's got all these habits.
I like seeing the innocence in them, man. You kind of realize how much of that people lose over time, and like the adventureness, like just like and the curiosity.
Yeah.
A lot of those amazing qualities that kind of get beat out of you as you go through life.
That's the thing, man. It's like we come out, we're so pure. We have no like impressions. We've never been hurt, so we don't know how to hurt other people.
Exactly.
Even. And it's like there's just such a purity about being around kids, and it's such a huge blessing. So
yeah, but they are very self-interested, though. They are very like that part is. Some people don't lose that either.
Yeah, no, isn't that crazy? So it's like they're so innocent, but at the same time, you'll see it's like when a kid's developing, they'll be totally self-centered, and they have to actually learn how to do what's right. It's like they're innocent and they're pure, but they haven't learned right and wrong. So it's like I want that, I take it, or it's like this shit. It happens, and then they have to learn that stuff. It's a trip.
We're in the process of trying to have another one right now. And so I'm trying to just keep up with Paxton right now. And
there's like some videos online, like instructional videos and websites that show you how to like do that, how to make one. I saw a few of them when I was a kid.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
right on. So
life is good, bro.
Life is good. Life is gooder than we ever can recognize, right? It's like
sometimes it just gets stressful. That's all.
I know, right? But you know what?
I am super. I'm sorry, I'm fixing my phone here. I am super excited to talk with you, bro. I will say this right out of the gate. So, like when I first started keto a long time ago, there was like, and I can't wait to dig into this with you. I hope we get to like how things have changed between. You've been doing keto longer than me, and I've just seen crazy amounts of change. But anyways, when I first started, man, I couldn't find anybody talking about it. No books, nobody on YouTube except for you. That's why I refer to you as like the keto OG.
The
Like,
keto G.
I was like, who the hell is this dude in this paradise? He's like walking around in a freaking jungle, but he knows his stuff. And you kind of like really helped me out in the very beginning. Obviously, I've paid it forward, and so I'm just excited to talk with you, man, and meet you finally. So,
Dude, well, that I gotta say, I appreciate that greatly. I appreciate what you do, and it's like you're one of the few, like you said, there was no keto stuff out there like a while ago on YouTube and stuff. And I've been obsessed with YouTube since YouTube came out in 2005.
Yeah.
I just thought it was an incredible. I've been obsessed with filmmaking and loved making videos when I was a kid. And it's like, oh wow, anybody can publish videos now. So I've been monitoring YouTube like a hawk since it came out. And now there's so much, like there's so much in every single niche. I think we've all seen like the same astronomical growth in YouTube, but I gotta say, like out of all the channels out there, there's a lot of keto stuff out there. There's some good stuff, and I don't always relate to all of it, but I love watching your stuff because you show like your family. You've got this aspect of, you and your wife are in it together, which obviously I relate to because Jessica and I run this business together, and you've got a kid. And the way that you're constantly on that positivity tip. You're constantly coming from a genuine place with your inspiration for your audience too. It's not just like, everybody's a motivational speaker now, right? Like, all you need is an Instagram. You could be like 15 years old and you're like a life coach, on Instagram. If you've whatever your accomplishment is, you make one up, it's like, but for you, I love your story, and I'd love to kind of get into your story, where you came from. So how did you get into all this low carb madness? You've been in the fitness industry a while. You've been jacked since you were a child, it seems.
Yeah, pretty much. I know. Everybody always is like, oh, he's on steroids. Obviously, you can imagine I get that a lot. But
so you're a natural lifter, right?
Yeah, dude, I am 100% natural, just for the record. But everybody always growing up used to like, oh, he's just all genetics. Like that's all I heard like through my wrestling career.
Everyone's got an excuse for you.
They want to take it away. Like they used to want to take it away from me from like saying I'm all genetics and that's it. And then it turned into the fitness industry. Now I'm on steroids. But I've got good genetics, very good genetics. But I almost wasted a lot of that potential. I believe we all have potential, and you can either try and search and discover it and realize it, or you can throw it away. Some of my life I spent trying to throw it away. So good genetics ain't nothing without hard work. But anyways, I've been in the fitness industry for a while. It was just kind of one of those natural things for me to do. I spent time in other businesses.
How'd you start lifting though? Like when did you first start lifting weights?
Bro, to be honest, my first recollection of lifting and being obsessed with it was, I think I was in 6th grade. I was a bad kid, man. My parents were divorced. I lashed out a lot. I didn't really, I was lost. And I
standard American lifestyle, though, right?
Yeah, like, exactly.
You become a teenager and you think you're supposed to rebel, but sometimes it's like, for sure.
I was in 6th grade and I would just get grounded. I spent my whole life in my room on punishment. And I asked for.
Were you really that naughty, or were your parents just hard on you?
I think my mom was overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, and it was just easier. I was bad though. I mean, I like resented my mom for a lot of stuff. It was unfortunately, but anyways, I got weights. I got like 10-pound weights. I still remember them. They were orange, and my mom got me these weights, and so I was basically like a prisoner, bro. In a cell. I was in my cell for hours and hours and hours, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, bro. I would just like lift the weights, do curls, and I noticed that like I was changing. I would do sit-ups and push-ups. I like remember going to my brother like, yo, can you tell a difference? That's when I discovered like the pump. And it was really cool because I felt like I had control in a weird way. It like gave me a sense of control and purpose. And so from that point forward, I just literally got obsessed with it and how it made me feel. It was kind of like an escape. So
but it's like an escape, but it's almost like, what are you escaping? You're going to something. I remember when I was 12 how often I would use my will. It's like, you're like most of the life of the average 12-year-old, I think, is you're kind of just chasing your own tail instinctively,
Yeah.
right? It's like you start to notice girls and then the social weirdness of school. Everyone's trying to posture for everyone else. It's like,
Yeah.
man, like how much time did I spend when I was 12 years old actually doing anything that I wanted to do, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe lifting weights is, it's like it's nice way to kind of just get into like feeling life again without regard to all the other nonsense going around.
Yeah. So, but to answer your question, I think to circle back, I kind of went down a rabbit hole there. How I got introduced to low carb diet, I think was your original question.
Yeah,
So,
and then I went to when did you start lifting weights?
yeah, So then we started talking about steroids and lifting weights. No, but so I grew up a wrestler, man. I believed 100,000% in calories in, calories out. I didn't give a shit what anybody told me, bro. It was you want to lose weight, you got to go run your ass off and eat less food.
With like paper, with like plastic bags over you, right?
Yeah.
Water weight depletion.
Yeah, and so like that was my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And so there was it was just all came down to willpower. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to go do what I had to do to lose 10 pounds a week? And bro, I would lose a lot of weight a week.
10 pounds a week when you're 13 is crazy.
Yeah. Like especially so anyways, so when I got into the fitness industry, started training people, taking on clients and stuff, I use that strategy. I just said, here's this crazy ass workout program that you're not going to be able to sustain. And here's this crazy low calorie number that I'm just pulling out of my ass. And hopefully it's not going to starve you to death and you can just, you know, will your way to victory.
Yeah. Like every calorie is equal, right? Like, hey, all we got to do is count calories. And that's, here's something for the audience, right? So like I had somebody, I was on a live broadcast the other night and the audience was like, you like disagree with Jason on calories. I don't think that's actually true. We'll flesh this out later. I don't think there's actually like a need to even debate anything on this. It's like what I hear Jason saying about calories, and tell me if I'm wrong, is you're saying that when you do keto, when you restrict carbohydrates enough and you're getting, you know, sufficient but not an astronomical amount of protein to where you're just all day. Like enough protein but not overdoing it, and you keep carbs low and you get fats in your diet, you naturally don't want to eat as much and you end up weight without having to think about like, oh, I must eat 1,300 calories. Whereas like I think people take that and then they hear, oh, calories don't matter. That means I'm going to eat as much food as I can. And like
good luck on keto though. Hey, good luck doing that on keto.
Exactly.
I tried it. Hey, I tried it. Eating 4,000 calories a day was the hardest thing mentally I've ever had to do. I dare you. Hey, if I give you a plate full of pancakes right now, you'll crush it, no problemo. If I slide a plate full of steaks drenched in butter, you're gonna have a really hard time overeating. I get that a lot. What if I ate 10,000? What if I ate 10,000 calories a day? Then do calories matter? Hey, eat 10,000 calories of fat, come back to me and let me know how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, you do that, you're going to feel like sick to your stomach. So the next day you're going to want to eat 1,000 calories of fat.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to, or nothing. You'll just fast the next day.
So I just think the focus. So I believed so hardcore in the calories in, calories out approach. And then all of a sudden I read a book by Gary Taubes called Why We Get Fat. And it changed my fucking life, bro. Like I was blown away more than I've ever been in my entire life. I had to literally question everything that I had ever learned growing up. And I was open-minded about it though. I wasn't like, a lot of people want to resist that type of new learning and questioning what you thought was true, and you miss out. And so I really was like, holy cow. It took me a while to understand the science of blood sugar increases, insulin spikes, lipoprotein lipase, and the basics of how all that stuff works, because I was just a dumb jock telling you that just eat less and work out more. Now all of a sudden I'm in the science. I'm like, oh shit, this makes total sense.
Well, I mean, like, if you're in the mind state of like the average athlete who's like so driven and who's so tuned into their body, then sure, like maybe like setting those calories and doing a restricted calorie diet can be better. Now, some people are saying my volume's too loud. Let me know if this is if
maybe mine is. I kind of got.
I think yours was low. I turned yours up and I turned mine down.
I forgot we were live. What is up, guys?
Yeah, everyone's saying, "Oh, I love you guys." Everyone's giving love.
Much love.
We got some hashtag war on sugars, which we'll get into in a bit.
Yeah.
So, all right. I hope the audio is good. All right, so I forget what I was getting at there. You're
Now
talking about
we were talking about calories, and it's always a huge, crazy, controversial topic. But here's why I attack the calorie counting so much, bro. Like my neighbor, if I knocked on his door right now and said, why do people get fat? You know what he's going to tell me? He's going to be like, well, because they eat too much food and they don't exercise enough.
too many animal products, too much saturated fat.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But he's ultimately going to be like, I need to get him over the fact that it's not calories in, calories out, because that's why people fail, is because they march down, starving themselves and running themselves into the ground. It's not sustainable. And instead, I take the harder route, which is educating them on the science of hormone balance and insulin. Dude, bro, trust me. I wish I could just come on YouTube and be like, hey, I know how many calories you need every day. Buy my workout program. It's going to whoop your ass. Eat less food. Here's a cookie cutter meal plan. You can have carbs still. I'm not going to take your carbs away.
Well, that's a quick
I know you love them.
You get somebody quick results, and maybe 10% of the population can do it. And then it's like, and if they don't get the results, well, it's their fault because they didn't have enough willpower.
How about hey, if you don't get results, I'm just going to cut your calories even more. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and then it'll be more unsustainable.
Be careful what you say, because I might starve you even more. Okay. Yeah. It's just madness. And I think that's the one thing society has to understand, is that it's not your fault. Like insulin resistance is a real thing. It is the root of a lot of problems. A lot of people are born insulin resistant. And it just makes me sad to think that people tell them, oh, you just eat too much food. That's why you were fat as a kid. That's why you're fat now. And that's why you'll always be fat. It's like, hey,
so
guess what?
It's like a difference in language sometimes, where it's like, if you tell somebody, all right, you just got to restrict calories, and you give them zero strategy, you give them no way to, it's like, well, why do I want to eat so many calories? Why do I eat these foods to such abundance?
Yeah.
And there's when the hormones come in, and that's actually the crux of the matter.
Yeah. And but people in my industry, Tristan, like in my, bro, you know the game I have to play.
Well, you just gotta, all about the supplements. You need
it's all about, yeah, exactly. More subs and less food. These people just want to preach the calories in, calories out approach because it's easy, and they're dumb as hell and they don't want to be exposed for it. It's actually extremely interesting to see the response of a lot of my contemporaries in the fitness industry to keto. Guys and girls that have never even tried it, but they just want to bash it because it makes them question their previously held beliefs so much that they can't even they can't even stand it. But the truth hurts, I guess. I don't know.
It does. Well, that's it. I mean, we got to change our worldview. Sometimes people get attached to stuff. Also, it's like you have monetary. When your income depends on a belief, you will defend that belief. It's just like if somebody lives in an abusive household, they'll defend the abuser, even just because it makes their life easier. I mean, it's similar situation. I guess that's maybe an extreme example, but it really, like the fitness industry. The fitness industry is it's a world of illusion too.
Totally.
Right? It's not about like, oh, this is healthy. It's not about, oh, this is what you can do to live a long, healthy, happy life. It's about, hey, look, this person looks great. If you want to look great, you have to buy the same stuff that they buy.
Yeah.
And this is what I like about what you're doing. And maybe a lot of the blowback comes from people are intimidated because you're raising the bar. It's like you're raising the bar of like, you're in an industry of illusion, and people are just, everybody's trying to chase the right angle, right? It's all about angle and lighting. And it's like, dude, like
it's superficial nonsense. And and everybody wants to do things easy and expect big time results. They don't want to spend the time telling you the truth. They'd rather you just think it's your problem and they can whip you into shape. I hate the fitness industry, bro. With the passion, I really do. And I wasn't always in it. I got in the fitness industry at 28 years old. I was an entrepreneur in the publishing industry before that. Like but the fitness industry is it's dangerous, man. Anybody with a big following can totally, turn the clock backwards, man.
Well, and there's also, it's I totally understand, man. The fitness industry is the male equivalent to the fashion industry now. That's how I see it. It's like the masculine equivalent to the fashion industry, which is a lot of the, like, look, there's nothing wrong with like, hey, I like nice clothes, or here's, I like this fabric. And it's cool. what gets crazy is like the image and the gnarliness of the image that has to be portrayed. So it's like,
Dude,
I know that you work incredibly hard to maintain the physique you've got. And
and I have good genetics, let's be honest.
So how tall are you?
Yeah, but it goes back to like just reaching your full potential and understanding what is realistic. I get kids and guys that come to me and they're like, you know, I want to look like so-and-so fitness model. It's like, yeah, well, so-and-so fitness model is doing some shit that you probably don't want to be. Sorry, I think my wife, am I here? My wife keeps trying to call me. My wife keeps trying to call me. She wants me to probably bring groceries in. Anyways, it sets an unrealistic expectation, man. And I feel bad for people. You know, you have to look inside yourself and realize what your potential is. It's not like I want to lift and diet so I can look like Tristan and Jason. It's taking a look at yourself in the mirror, forgetting about the social media BS that you see, and see your own potential.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Like, why? Why do I even want to lose the weight? It's like, all right, well, you're going to lose weight, right? You're 100 pounds overweight. What is your life going to be like when you're 100 pounds less? Yeah. Is it going to be the same as it is now? Probably not.
Yeah. And can you actually visualize yourself getting to that point? Like, I'm a big believer in visualization and being able to like see yourself walking around 100 pounds lighter, seeing yourself, you know, but anyways, it's the fitness industry.
It's a wild world. What I like about what you do is you kind of flesh it out into like a real world. Your YouTube channel, it's not like the standard, oh, here, let's go do this crazy workout. Here's like all these chicks in bikinis that I hired to rub oil on while I'm doing it. Like, you know, money, pussy. Like, that's just like the fitness industry. It's like a lot. It's like the rap world now almost. Where it's
it is. It's
about image
and
it's about
bling
falseness.
And sex sells. Yeah. Everybody judges on appearance. That's the sad thing. But I don't take it. I don't listen. I don't need to. Sorry, my wife's coming home. Yeah. Sorry I didn't help you. I'm gonna let you say hi to Paxton in a minute.
Yeah, sweet.
How are you? Hey, Paxton.
What's up, fam?
Hey. Yeah, say hi to your friend Tristan.
Paxton, what's up, dude?
Hey, Tristan.
You say big, Paxton?
Can you say Primal Edge Health?
It's like I can say booby and a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what I was saying is what I like about your channel is you give some realness to it. You actually tell people, you show people what it is and what it takes for you to, first of all, maintain the physique you maintain naturally without the aid of a bunch of, exogenous hormones and stuff. I mean, what you're doing, helping people, lose fat in a sustainable way. I think it's awesome. So, I mean, it's a far cry from a lot of the material you see out there in the fitness industry. And
just keeping it real, bro. Just keeping it real.
Man. So when you started out with calories in, calories out, how the heck did you hear about low carb? Like, when did this?
Well, so I started like, my clients were failing, bro, to be honest with you. Like, I was starving them out and I was like, dude, something's not right. Like, maybe I'm just not doing this the right way. And so I was in Barnes and Noble and just saw a book, Why We Get Fat. And I was curious and I just picked it up, man. It changed my life. So then I used it on myself, but then so the whole book, the premise is carbohydrates cause an impact on blood sugar spikes insulin's the fat storage hormone. That's the reason why you get fat, not because you sit around eating too much. It's the quality of foods that matter more than the quantity type of book. And he goes into the science, but anyways, I started using it on myself, the low carb approach, right? And it was miserable. You know, like I was, dude, just feeling terrible because I was a bro, you know. I was in the fitness industry, and in the fitness industry, they tell you got to take like 10 protein shakes a day.
Right. You need like 5 grams per pound of your body weight.
Yeah. And you need like 300 grams of protein to build muscle. So I was going super low carb, didn't even think about fat. And I was going like really, really, really high protein. And I tried to sustain that for a long time. I would put clients on that for a long time and kind of ran into the same problem, the lack of energy, man. Not to mention the toll that your body converting all that protein into glucose has on you. And then all of a sudden I started working with kids with mental health issues in Atlanta, Georgia. and they introduced me to the ketogenic diet. So a lot of these kids.
Whoa! So you got introduced to keto by
in a medical setting, yeah. So
yeah.
these kids, they were like bipolar, schizophrenic. Many of them were it attempted suicide. It was this big facility. They came from all across the world and they stayed there. It was like a campus.
Yeah.
And I trained the chief medical officer in the gym. And so he came and he was like, hey, we're doing this program. So all these kids took a medication that basically bumped their triglycerides up, cholesterol up. Dude, it just wrecked their entire blood panel. Everything was screwed, right? The good thing is they were able to subside a lot of the side effects of their illness. Bad news is they end up dying at. Hey, are you there, man? People keep trying.
I'm back.
People keep trying to call me. My bad. I'm silencing them. But anyways, yeah, they took a medication. They end up dying at 40 because the side effects of the medication. So this program was designed. What's the word for it that I wish everybody knew? Metabolic syndrome.
Yeah.
Syndrome X is what it's called. So they use diet and exercise, and they use the ketogenic diet. My job was to train the kids in the gym. And bro, that was a hell of an experience. That's what changed my entire life forever. But anyways, I was like, yo, what are you talking about? You're going to give these people a bunch of fat. Are you crazy?
Right.
Like I've heard of low carb. I knew low carb worked. Come on in. But anyways, so I tried it out, man. I just did it. And I remember the first time I put butter in my keto coffee, and I was like, dude, I'm either going to, because, my paycheck rides on this shit.
Yeah.
It
depends. You have to look a certain way.
Yeah. If fat makes me fat, I'm out of job.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was like the ultimate cure because I was low carb for so long, and I used to do like carb cycling, carb backloading. I tried every way to cut carbs and live a normal life. And once I discovered keto, I was like, dude, this is the answer to my prayers. I can cut carbs and have energy. I didn't even think that was possible. And the rest is history.
That's awesome. So
yeah, man.
Do you find that your physique has changed? Like, from when you were on a higher carb diet, dieting down, up and down all the time? What kind of change have you seen, like, as far as physique or like muscle quality goes?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me like how did I build all of my muscle on keto? The answer is no. I've been training.
As if that's relevant.
Yeah. I know. I get it all the time. They're like, "Oh yeah, but did you build all that muscle on keto?"
But no, if you did, it's like, "Oh yeah, well, did you go through puberty on keto?" It's like, come on. There's always an excuse.
I know. The answer is no. I built all this muscle. Like I said before, I have very good genetics. It's very easy for me to build muscle. But I've been in the gym my entire life. So when I cut carbs regularly, like when I just cut carbs and increase the protein, right, I would lose a tremendous amount of muscle mass.
Yeah.
Right. Like my muscle would just waste away quick, no matter how much damn protein I was putting in my body. I look at
water weight or like actual like you think like the actual muscle fibers would just
flat. Flat. No, I couldn't build muscle.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it was miserable. So my physique suffered then. Same thing. I tried to correct that with like carb cycling. I'm like, well, maybe if I throw down 300 grams of carbs once every other day, that'll work. It didn't work. But then when I found keto, it's like a way for me I can build muscle. I'm 36, bro. So, I'm not going to like go put on a bunch of muscle. Keto for me is I'm able to preserve the muscle that I worked my ass off for and effortlessly stay lean as hell with that muscle.
And also you've been working out. You're like probably your genetic potential is you're probably maxed out. I don't know.
I would think.
I've
noticed.
How much bigger can he get if he's not on the juice? Like you're very maxed out as far as genetic potential goes.
Yeah, and bro, I weigh 150 pounds.
Yeah, but you're like at 7% body fat, like really shredded 150.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
5'7", 5'9", and I'll weigh like 150 at like maybe 10% body fat. Like never get super shredded because I'll feel crappy lower than that. But how tall are you?
5'7".
There you go. All right, so yeah, very like 5'7", 150 pounds of pure muscle. That looks like somebody who's 6 foot tall and 220 pounds.
Yeah.
I think the height people people like trip out a lot. Well, he's only 150. I mean, 150, if you're 5'7", that's a lot of muscle. This is like very dense muscle there.
Yeah, you should see me try and swim, bro. I sink to the bottom of the pool, bro. Like, no, but I've always, I don't know where I got it, man. I had a 6-pack in 6th grade, bro. Like but like I said before, genetic potential is one thing, but you can waste it. Like when I was in college, I wasted all that shit, man. That's why I'm always on people like, yo, you got potential. You've got, you gotta use it or lose it.
Yeah.
Straight up. But anyways, yeah, so that's why keto. So keto is just that, dude, it's easiest. I love it because it just helps me sustain my career and balance my life. That's why I always like preach kind of recently against overthinking stuff and all that, because, it's, I don't know.
Like, what's the point of, it's like you're doing a diet. People can make their diet more complicated than like than anything else. And it's, so why are you going to do that? It's like, yeah, sure. There's ins and outs, and there's like, it can be hard at first and overwhelming, but we don't have to keep that energy around. It's like, once you figure it out, it's pretty basic. It's like, hey, you get a certain amount of protein in, fat is what you're burning for energy, and you keep your carbs real low. Yeah. And most people can eat intuitively after a little while on keto. I find that intuitive eating on keto, it's 1,000 times easier than trying to do intuitive eating when you're eating carbohydrates. Intuitive eating when you're eating carbs, it's like throwing all out the window. It's like you get a donut, and it's like, oh yeah, that's like 10 grams of carbs. You eat your donut, you're like, I'm eating 10 more of those donuts. I mean,
it's an addiction. No, I totally agree, and that's why I try and walk people towards. I call it instinctive, intuitive, same thing. Yeah. Where I use my instincts to kind of guide me into my food choices, my food timing, all that stuff. But I feel like that is, when you go that route, you have reached the pinnacle and the true beauty of the ketogenic diet. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where you are like using the force, and you are so well regulated and so confident that you can all of a sudden forget that you are on a diet. Yeah. Like, who wants to sit around and weigh food out and count calories and, portion control? Like, it's not necessary. That's not something that's not normal
forever, for sure.
That's not.
But like, what I find is that people, like, in the induction phase, when somebody's like, say you got 100 pounds to lose, and you've never like even thought about how much protein, fat, and carbs am I eating? Like, measuring their, obviously, doing a week, just 1 week sometimes of tracking, being like, this is what I'm doing. That can be so helpful for somebody to like really set the to like figure out what their new habit's going to be. And once that habit is trained, just like with you, it's like, you don't have to think about it. You're not waking up every morning thinking, oh no, I need to get this much protein, fat, and carbs in. It's like, you're just like, this is my meal. I wake up in the morning, I eat the same dang breakfast every day. It's like every single morning I cook like 5 eggs and butter, and that's my breakfast almost every day. That's
I'll tell you the truth. I think you bring up a good point. Instinctive or intuitive training why I do that. I do instinctive training as well as instinctive dieting. Comes with a lot of time and practice. But tracking in the beginning, like you said, is very important. It's kind of like learning how to dance, where you got to like count steps off in your head, and you're like, step 1, 2. But then eventually, if you want to become a professional and glide across the floor gracefully, you're not counting steps off in your head. You're getting lost in the music. You're sensing the energy of your dancing partners. You're allowing yourself to just kind of go with the flow. And if you trip up and fall on the floor, go right back to tracking for a few days, aka counting steps off in your head. That's the way I look at it. But if you think you're going to count steps in your head every single day for the rest of your life, you're going to be a shitty dancer.
Yeah. Right. You're gonna be a robot.
Like
how I move this. It's like you're segmenting. It's just like any movement pattern. Like even when you're doing a bench press, and this is a very isolated movement. But you're using your back, you're using your butt, you're using your feet. It's like there's not like you're only isolating these muscles. The whole organism is involved. So
with repetition comes confidence. And I want to see more people become confident, because it's really easy, bro. It's just the general idea is, guess what? You were lied to. Carbs make you fat and they kill you. They're the ones that are really guilty. And believe it or not, I got good news. Fat is actually innocent. You can eat as much of it as you want. Your body will tell you when it's had enough, and that's just it. like if you could just understand and follow that, you'll be set free. But when people get overcomplicating all kinds of craziness, it's like, man, I feel like you're not going to make this a lifestyle. Like, you know, and I just wish, I want this to be a lifestyle for so many people, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just get confused with like, all right, so here's somebody's that's a little bit disillusioned. He says, I know it can be confusing. Many keto advocates will say different things. Some push for all the fat you can eat, while others push higher protein.
Yeah.
A lot of this is semantics, guys. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that it's like, okay, so I'll come on like, and so many times I've said that if you're trying to lose body fat on keto, and this can be confusing to people too, because it's the opposite of what they hear. I usually will end up saying the most important macro to actually eat would be protein. Now, I'm not saying you need to eat as much protein as you can, or you need to overeat. I'm saying like you need to get enough protein because it brings satiety. And then the fat comes with the protein. If you're eating an egg, you're getting just as many calories. You're getting actually more calories from fat from an egg than you're getting from protein. If you're eating a good steak, you're getting plenty of fat with that steak. But it's like, so then people will take that and they're like, oh, I need to eat all protein and no fat. And then some people will take what you're saying and they'll just be like, I need to eat all the fat and no protein. And it's like, no. We're saying the same thing. You got to find the middle ground that you get enough protein.
Yeah.
You don't eat too much. You don't eat too little.
I think it's important to like get perspectives from different people. You might say, hey, you can eat a lot more protein and get away with it. And that's fine. You know, have your recommendation. Everybody, like, you got to end up just, the only way to find out who's right and who's wrong is do it for your damn self and then come back and tell us.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Maybe find the common thread. And it's like, all right, everyone's saying I keep my carbs low. So that makes sense. I'm going to keep the carbs low. A lot of it comes down to semantics, guys. It's like, there's so much going on.
I use ranges too. I like using ranges. I got away from like trying to find exact numbers. I'm going to tell you exactly how many calories you need to burn. I'm going to tell you exactly how many grams of protein you get. And I get that question a lot. How many grams of fat? How many grams of protein? Instead, I like using ranges, like 70 to 80%. And I like saying 10 to 20% protein. If you have a lot more weight to lose, I always recommend taking it down a little bit. If you want to build, because I get that question a lot too. I want to build muscle. Can I add more protein? The only way to find out is do it, bro.
Right. Like, you need more calories if you're going to build muscle.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. I'll tell you one thing. If you want to build muscle, I highly recommend you don't starve yourself. Let's start there.
Right.
Let's start there, man.
Yeah, you know what I find? All right, so for me personally, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I want to ask you something. This is the one thing that I could never understand about calorie counting. And people come and they're like, my coach. Here's the first thing. There's like everybody's online coach in my industry, right? Oh, yeah. And so if I went to like 10 different online coaches, I would probably and search for a calorie number. I would come back with most likely 10 different calorie recommendations because they all, I'm sure, have different formulas, right?
And they're all perfect. Every one of them.
Yeah, and they're all right as hell. And here's the deal. And so probably more than likely, all of my calorie recommendations from all 10 coaches are going to be whole numbers. So it's going to be like 1,600, 1,700, not like it's never going to be like
it's the template.
Yeah, it's never going to be like you need 1,635 calories. It's always like 1,600. That's good. And here's the big question. The one thing that I could never get over. You got one side figured out because you got your magic formula and shit, you know. Okay, so like let's say I'm supposed to have 1,800 calories to burn X amount of pounds per day or whatever. Now the other half of the equation is calories out. You got calories in figured out.
Yeah.
Now the other half is calories out. Where's your formula for that, everybody? Exactly. And how and I never hear people talking about
the
that
formula for that is simple. Is my client losing weight? But then here's what other coaches will do in the fitness industry too. They will skew like your body fat percentage reading. Like there's little games that they'll play to make you think you're getting progress, even if you're not getting progress.
Totally. But how many calories, Tristan, how many calories have you burned today so far?
Oh man, well, let me
who the fuck knows? Who knows? You'll never know. I'll never know. You'll never know. Anybody watching this, hey, look, Hey,
The
look,
only way you
I got a
know.
really expensive Apple Watch. This thing thinks it can tell me how many calories I burn a day. I call bullshit. I'm walking
I'll show you how
around.
to burn a bunch of calories. You take your Apple Watch, you put it on a string, and you spin it around over your head, and you'll burn 1,000,000 calories.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So all these people, they're like, they want to focus on the calories in, but the calories out is a big mystery. And let me say this. If you do know how many calories you burn every day, guess what? When you wake up tomorrow, that number is going to be very different. If I rest today from the gym, right, my calories out is going to be far different than the leg day I'm about to do tomorrow.
All right, here's a question for you. Similar thread. I totally agree with you. Nobody knows how many calories you're burning. Nobody knows how many. They're throwing darts at the board, and they kind of know where to put it because they're used to. They know that's like, all right, if this woman's 5'2" and she's 200 pounds and she needs to lose some weight, if I put her calories around here, it'll probably. It's like it's a guess. And
Yeah.
and I totally agree with you about ranges. Ranges is real. Like I do that for protein and fat. And it's like what I do is we figure out what your body does. It's like if you never tracked how much food you eat before, here's what we do. We make you eat a consistent amount of food and we see if you lose or gain weight. Ooh, there you go. You're surplus, you're deficit. If you gain weight, you're in a surplus. If you lose weight, you're in a deficit. They're all word games. It's like what we need to do is find a strategy to help you maintain fat loss. Right. And it's like, I could tell you 1,300 calories, or I can say eat less carbs and eat steak and eggs more.
Go for more of like, go straight for more of like, maybe this person's insulin resistance. Maybe they're super insulin resistant. Maybe they're pre-diabetic. I got to maybe instead of 50 grams total carbs or less for this person, maybe I'll give them a goal of 30. Maybe I will, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't just always go to like, well, this person must eat too much food. So maybe how about 1,300 calories?
So the food, like too much food thing is funny because it's like I agree that telling people that they're eating too much food is useless if you give them no strategy to maintain lower intake of food.
If you don't tell them what that food does to their body that they're actually eating, you're placing the blame on them. Like people quit trying to lose weight because they feel like a failure because they can't starve themselves. Nobody can starve themselves, bro. Like nobody. It's if you're worried about the calories, just go work out more. Just go like lose yourself in the gym. You know what I mean? Like
Michael Mudge says the best way to burn calories is pickaxe mining for Bitcoin.
That's hilarious. Hey, I've got a list of questions for you, and cryptocurrency is on there.
Dude, crypto's a wild world. You think the fitness industry is full of shit? Go play around with crypto people. It's like the whole crypto game. It's like who can scam everyone out of their money, and like it's such a funny game. But it's not all that. But in the trading game, it's super funny.
Dude, I can't imagine going up to what's a Bitcoin go for right now?
Like 12,000, or maybe it's 10,000. It was like $4,000, and it went 12, and then it went down, and then
there's no way governments of the world are going to allow that shit to happen. Make your money.
I think the governments of the world made it. That's why it's happening.
Yeah, maybe.
I think when you look at like the real history of Bitcoin, like cryptocurrency, this is historically a way for people to move money around with banking without having to physically move funds around. It probably is connected to NSA in the beginning, but maybe it got out of control or something.
So the guy, apparently there was this guy, what's the name?
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah, apparently there's a guy in Australia who came out and said that he was him. Have you seen that story and all that stuff?
There's several people who said like, I'm him, but it doesn't really add up. Like I don't think it was one person. I think there's several people came together, and this has been gamed for a long time. It's a fascinating world to me. Where it comes from, I'm not clear. The myth is Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the white paper in 2009. This was in response to the banker bailout and to the printing of infinite money by the Federal Reserve. Most people, if they look into that, they can agree that's like, hey, whoa, the Federal Reserve prints money and it's not backed by anything, and you can print money and make bombs, and then
it's crazy.
Taxes. Why are we paying trillions of dollars of taxes if you can print money? And
I love the idea of cryptocurrency, man. I wish it wasn't as confusing, and I don't think
crypto, a good place to start. I'd say cryptocurrency. The history of Bitcoin is very interesting. Maybe reading the white paper. A good place to start is just getting some Bitcoin when it's really low. So next time Bitcoin drops down to 8,000, get a Bitcoin, hold on to it. If you just hold long term, that's the best strategy. What people end up doing is they end up trying to trade, and they end up trying to make money on these trades and the other altcoins. people can make money on that, but you can
Yeah.
also just drive yourself nuts. So the best thing to do is like you get into whatever cryptocurrency you're interested in. Like there's Bitcoin, and then there's Litecoin and Ethereum, and these all have different functions. They're all based on what's called blockchain. That just is a way of distributing out the information to where it's not all centralized. So it's like if you send a transaction, the block has to be processed through 1,000 different people's computers. This is, long story short, and it has to be confirmed by all these independent nodes, which then confirms that the block has been transferred, and then you have your Bitcoin in your little wallet. So it's like it's a way to send currency outside of banks, to hold currency outside of banks. I think it's a fantastic idea. It's not perfect. It's not.
I think so. In theory, like I said, in theory, I love it.
It's great in theory. In practice, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a rocky road. It's not going to change the world, because it's like people get utopian about it, and they're like, well, Bitcoin and crypto is going to make everything better and totally and make exploitation obsolete and somehow like change everything. I think that's really nonsense. Like the problem with the world is not that there's banks making money. The problem with the world goes like far deeper, and it's more of a spiritual battle that we're kind of looking at.
I agree. You seem like a spiritual person. Are you?
I try to seem that way. No, I'm just kidding.
You did a damn good job of it. I'm like, this guy's deep. Like I sense like deep thinker in you. Like you're the farthest from surface level, which I can appreciate. So I wrote down a lot of questions that I wanted to pick your brain on. If you don't mind me rattling off a few.
Sure, let's switch it on. Let you interview me now. Well, I thought I had one.
Okay, yeah.
It was about.
Maybe I should start a podcast someday.
You should start a podcast today. Well, let's switch it on, because I forgot the questions I had for you. So man, good. Like whatever you want to talk about.
I want to know what childhood was like for you. Like what was growing up? First, where you lived and what kind of stuff were you into growing up?
Cool. All right. So I lived in when I was born. I was born a poor black child. No, anyone seen The Jerk? That used to be one of my favorite movies. Steve Martin, The Jerk. All right, so I was born in 1987.
Were you really? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm 30. So I was born in California, in Southern California. Yeah, if you can't tell from my accent. So I was born in Dana Point, California, and then I moved to a place called Riverside. I had asthma when I was like a really young kid. One of my earliest memories was just like allergies and asthma. Not like a sickly child, but like autoimmune condition type stuff. Used to get a lot of ear infections and stuff like that. Breathing issues. My mom, I think a lot of the asthma stuff started when my mom went to work when I was like 2 or 3 years old. So there was like an emotional trauma aspect to it of like, I don't see the asthma as purely environmental, although I did live in an area in the suburbs that was just like the worst air quality in the world.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so like Southern California, Riverside, California is where I grew up after I was born in Dana Point. I was into I don't know, I was just into like reading and stuff. Like I was a pretty smart kid and very sensitive. I had several like experiences. I remember some of my early experiences in like kindergarten were kind of the ones that I remember, or at least choose to remember, were like just weird stuff of like just feeling like wanting to connect with people, but also just like in the way that the structure was, it was just so weird. Like I didn't like going and sitting in class and listening to this nonsense. And then there was like kids that pick on you and stuff. There was like these weird social pecking orders that I didn't really come to terms with until later. So, I remember being a real sensitive kid. I used to wander around alone at recess when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade. I used to go and look for like quartz crystals in the dirt, and I would dig up clay and I'd play with the clay and I'd make figurines. And
so like you were a little discoverer, like you liked exploring and stuff.
Totally. But also I was very like, maybe I probably had some fears and stuff where it was like, I think my parents were a little bit protective of me because of how they grew up. Like they both grew up without parents. They both grew up without fathers.
Gotcha.
So I remember.
Were your parents married or divorced?
They were married, but I always thought that they were going to get divorced.
Yeah.
I always like thought that they would get divorced. I think everyone kind of did when they're in our generation, right?
Yeah. Mine were divorced.
Yeah, I remember like they would fight and stuff, and I was just like, why don't you get divorced? Maybe it was I thought my friends got 2 Christmases, and I thought that would be a good idea. They want 2 Christmas.
It was overrated, bro. No. Do you have
So
brothers? Do you have brothers and sisters?
yeah, I got a little brother and a little sister. My sister's 3 years younger than me. My brother's 6 years younger than
Did
me.
they come down and visit you?
My brother's lived here in Ecuador for like the last 6 months.
Oh,
So
cool,
yeah,
man.
he lives like in the other side of the valley. He's going back to Colorado in 2 weeks from now.
No
So
way, man. We'll have to link up. Tell him I said he's more than welcome to chill.
I
Hey,
will. I will.
so what's life like in Ecuador, man? I love watching your videos just for the background. You're like Ty. What's that guy in his garage with his books? Only you're like in this amazing jungle talking to me and stuff, man. What
Well, that's what I loved books growing
Ty,
up, right? So I
Ty
was just
Lopez and his
reading.
Lamborghinis.
That's super funny. I'm like a green Ty Lopez.
I'm like,
I'm
hey
a
guys,
hippie
just
Ty
sitting here
Lopez.
talking about the benefits of keto in my amazing rainforest. No,
Yeah.
but what's it like living in Ecuador, man? Like the
It's a
culture,
trip, man.
like
It's crazy. It's like, all right, so we left California in 2010. I went to University of California, Santa Cruz, where met my wife.
cool.
And anyways, I talked about like when I was a really young kid, I was not as outgoing. I became super outgoing in like from 5th to 7th, 8th grade. Was just really into getting attention and like
Yeah.
just really crazy kid. So and then I had like occasional ins and outs of depression and like, probably a lot of inflammation at the time too, or like I used to play baseball and soccer and then I got inactive. And then I went in between being active and happy and then being depressed and really like closed up. And I used whatever, like girls as excuses. Well, I'm depressed because this girl rejected me, or I'm depressed because this and that. But it was just my own choices. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to grab on to like what was real. And I got caught up in illusion and it made me feel like shit. So after that, I kind of broke open myself in college when I was like 18, kind of like shed a lot of layers and was just like, screw it, I'm going to be me. And I don't care what people think and what people say. So I kind of went through this intense phase of like kind of opening up to what
Self-discovery.
Yeah, self-discovery, absolutely. And that led my wife and I to going through this just crazy time at the end of our college career. We were finishing up our degrees. I studied history in college, and I was going to transition I wanted to become like a naturopath or a chiropractor. So I ended up having to do biology classes, and this was at the end of doing all liberal arts stuff. I got overwhelmed. I was just sick of school. Like I was sick of the falseness that I saw in the university system, like the fake ambition of the people around me. It's like I wanted to really change the world, and I just like everyone in my generation, that's a broad generalization. I felt that more of the people around me were just trying to just get by and like
get that ticket.
Yeah, it's like, the economy crashed in 2008 and there was it was just a wild time. Like I lived in Santa Cruz and I remember like Obama got elected and everybody was marching in the streets like the Messiah came. And I'm just like, this is madness. Like this is crazy. And I went through this weird awakening where it was like people around me, I just started seeing the world a lot differently. So Jessica and I started really getting involved in like health and fitness, and I wanted to be healthy. Like I wanted to live. I wanted to eat a better diet. So that was something that really brought me to the appreciation of food quality, organic foods, and got really involved in the local community and farmers markets and just general health activism in that area too. Like there were smart meters were getting put up at the time in Santa Cruz, and we were really trying to get involved in getting some of the dangers of these technologies and the microwaves and stuff that were in the smart meters were. There was this crazy time of like we wanted to change the world, and it ended up like we just put so much energy into what we were doing that we almost burnt out. We were just going nuts with it. And at the same time trying to pivot my education and do more biology classes and stuff. I knew I was going to have to do math, and I hated math, man. Dude. So it was just like, I'm done. I can't do this. We quit. Like I stopped pursuing the school thing. I got my degree. She got her degree. And we were just like, let's do something. Let's go somewhere. We just felt stuck, you know, like everyone we knew was just trying to get by. Everyone we knew was just like, how can I get a job? What job can I get? And I never had that. I didn't have that mentality at the time. Like I had more of an abundance mentality, but at the same time it was like, this isn't, you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be happy. Really what I wanted to do is change the whole freaking world. When it's like, I mean, I needed to change myself more first.
Yeah, but
So,
you knew by chance. Yeah, that's interesting. But you knew you were going to do that if you were able to help other people. It's the best way to. It's the best way to help yourself is to help other people. But go ahead.
Yeah. So So then we ended up like looking at places to visit. We wanted to go to South America. I met this guy who got me really into like crazy diet stuff. Like I knew this dude. His name was Scott. Scott ended up becoming a bank robber.
Really?
Scott, and the guy who introduced me to like healthy living, he like brought blueberries over to my house and was like, here's organic cacao. And like, I'm going to make you this smoothie with chocolate and coconut. And he made me this like raw smoothie. And he was like, yeah, man, this is what I do. And my life used to be like this. And I got rid of my inflammation by eating mostly like, it was like a plant-based diet. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like this, I really connected with this guy. He was a good person. I'd say robbed the bank later on. He didn't start out as always my bank robber friend. But yeah, it was like this dude ended up like out of desperation. He was a wildling. He was a
he probably just got caught in a bad situation and
he had a kid and
but he obviously knew
he was able to justify what he did. You know, I'm not going to hurt anyone. It's like I'm just going to get the money from the bank and use it to help my kid, and
the ends justify the means type of thing.
It was funny, man, but this is the guy that got me into healthy eating.
Interesting.
Scott, nice guy, crazy guy. Don't think what he did was good, but
can you go keto in prison? No, just kidding.
I hope so. I don't think so. Scott's probably still in prison, poor guy. I hope he's doing well. Maybe he's out now. But anyways, this guy showed me about like certain foods, and one of those foods was cacao. It was just like 100% chocolate. You know, it's like magnesium, selenium, and I started getting into all these like superfoods and stuff. And we got really interested in South America in general. I'd been obsessed with like history for a long time, so I was amazed by like I used to be really into like reading like Graham Hancock and stuff like that. Like his books back in the day really inspired me, and like hidden archaeology and Michael Cremo's forbidden archaeology books, where it was like it seemed like there was a lot of mysteries in South America that I was interested in. We bought tickets here in 2010. We came to Ecuador. We loved it. We just ended up wanting to stay. We had no money at the time. We had saved up as much as we could. We came down here with a few $1,000. We loved it. We flew back to the U.S., sold everything we had, got our dog, brought our dog out here, and we've only left a couple times. We've been in Ecuador since 2010, and we just like it. There's a million.
So you had both your children there?
They were both born here. Yep.
That's amazing, bro. Have they been to the States yet?
My daughter was when Jessica was pregnant, we went to the States. That was the last time we went to the States. Ariana has a passport. Ryder is no government knows that Ryder exists, except I'm sure Google's got it all.
That's actually, it sounds crazy, but it's probably a cool thing. I mean,
nobody knows Ryder exists. So yeah, we got to get Ryder's paperwork still. We got to get his passport and his U.S. citizenship done. But yeah, we haven't been to the States since they were born. It's crazy.
So what's the native language down there? Spanish.
Espanol.
Yeah. So they have to learn Spanish. Do you guys know Spanish?
Yeah. So I'm from California. So
okay. Yeah.
You know, so we grew up, there are a lot of Mexicans in California. You learn Spanish in school usually. I did 3 years of Spanish classes, but that doesn't mean I was fluent when I came here. I hadn't remembered anything. I mean, I hadn't spoken Spanish in like 4 years when I came here.
Yeah.
But, you know, because of living here for so long, we speak Spanish better.
So one of the things that one of the very first things I noticed when I watched your videos 3 years ago, I was like, damn, this dude's shredded. Like a lot of people get that from me. They're like, I'll trust keto because this guy's using it and he looks a certain way. And that's how I felt with you. I was like, okay, well, dude, this guy's shredded and he's eating all this fat. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I can keep my paycheck. You know what I mean?
I was not shredded before I got on keto, for sure. No, yeah. So I haven't shown that many old pictures of myself. I don't know where it is on my computer, but I was always, all right, since the age of like 12, 13, had a little pudge. You know, I was never, I was never a star athlete. I played baseball. I played soccer. I remember like one of the formative experiences of my life was like almost being good enough for all-stars in baseball at 12 years old. Almost.
Yeah.
And every one of my teams, though, this is a weird thing. I was never an all-star player, but every one of my teams always won. Like every team I was on in baseball from after T-ball until 12 years old when I got depressed and quit was we would always win the championship. But I was never the best player. I don't know. Maybe I worked good with people on a team. Maybe I was just blessed and I couldn't.
Baseball is a tough game, man. I have a lot of baseball friends. You're lucky you didn't go that route. It's brutal.
Oh man, no, it's a brutal world.
It is a brutal world.
Yeah.
But okay, so you weren't always like shredded because you look like you have an athletic physique. I was like, dude, this dude probably is like super athletic.
Wide. You know, it's like I've got a wide frame, right? Like my shoulders and stuff I'm very wide.
Yeah.
I weigh.
You must be on steroids because I mean you're shredded as hell.
I'm on steroids. Yeah. No. I'm actually like, I'm not very big. I don't have a lot of size. I've actually stopped lifting heavy. I actually went almost a year without like barely lifting at all because I was working on other things. And you know what's cool with keto? I was able to maintain most of my muscle mass.
That's it. I'm telling you.
If I do lift, it comes back. So I wasn't always shredded. I was kind of chubby when Ariana was born. I had sympathy weight gained with Jessica. We ate whatever we wanted for a while. I got a little fatter.
I couldn't do that, but I commend you. I commend you for that. So a lot of times, so what is your training regimen like? Like, what do you, when you're like, hey, I'm going to go hit it? I don't imagine you go to like LA Fitness or a corporate gym and like do that stuff. I imagine you get pretty creative. So I'm anxious to hear what your training philosophy and your training regimen's like.
All right. So kids are naked back there, so I can't.
All right.
They're always naked. Just run around naked. I was going to show you kettlebells in the back there. So I've got kettlebells. I've got a barbell. I used to do a lot of deadlifts, squats, and bench press.
Yeah.
I have since moved away from heavy lifting altogether.
Smart.
I'm a heretic now. Like I don't think that heavy lifting is great for me. Only for me. And the reason is this. When I grew up, I had scoliosis. I had a twisted spine. My hips were offset. Now, I think a lot of this was due to like baseball and using one leg, also skateboarding. So like highly one leg dominant movements, twisting in one direction, very, very neurologically demanding movements, all off like all one direction.
And while your body's developing and trying to build certain muscle issues and all that stuff.
So imagine, so it's like the only practice I had when I was a kid would be, running around for soccer. I used to play soccer, but also, what's up, dude? You all right? Ari, will you come help him? So the only movement practices I had was baseball and soccer, and then also skateboarding. So it's like jumping off of one leg, and then spinning in one direction. And then all day long, what are you doing when you're a kid? You're sitting in a desk, hunched over like this, and I'm inflamed in my gut because I'm eating a bunch of bread and wheat all day. So it's like I had a lot of inflammation, and I had a twisted spine. So what I found that was that lifting really heavy, although it would feel good and I could build muscle well and I could get like pretty jacked, I ended up kind of just pushing it too far. And I felt like I built muscle around a crooked midsection.
Interesting.
And you can see it like even in old pictures, like a couple years ago, I can see the way that my core was formed was crooked and it was offset. Now that I've stopped lifting heavy and focused more on posture, I find that like my physique looks a lot different. My midsection looks completely different. And it looks and feels much healthier from lifting less heavy weight.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now my training looks like kettlebells. It looks like lifting every once in a while and more calisthenics.
Yeah, I can see you as the calisthenics guy. For sure.
In the last couple years, like actually for the last year, I've been working on restoring a car. And I
saw that. That was on my list of questions. It says red truck.
Red truck, the red truck. So I've been doing that. And that was like really intensive and mentally intensive and also labor intensive. And I find that any movement, like, all right, so if I work most of my work's on a computer. I talk to people. Yeah. I do a lot of emails and stuff. It's not healthy. It's like you don't feel good. I think that people that work outside are like generally much healthier, happier, better adjusted individuals. So when I was working on the truck, that was almost like my workout. Like I'd be like underneath it for a long time. And so
Yep.
yeah, that was like my workouts for the last year have just been minimal. I've probably lost maybe 5 pounds of muscle. It might be noticeable, it might not be, but I'll
Nah.
see. Maybe I'll go through a period of putting on a little bit more muscle mass over like the next year or so. I'll see
Yeah,
how
it
it
kind of ebbs. It's interesting how it kind of ebbs and flows, you know, in
goes.
terms of what you do and the intensity you do it at and stuff. But
Now, what about you? Like, so for the last year or so, has your training changed much with keto?
no, it hasn't. I haven't changed anything. I don't think anything could have changed my training. But I would read like studies showing, like from Volek and Finney and stuff, and how like I wanted to move more into like endurance type stuff, but yeah,
Ooh.
like that's where. But I noticed a benefit with my training in that I did get a little weaker in the beginning. And when I first started, we'll talk about this too. I'm sure I did a cyclical ketogenic diet when I first started keto. And I think that kept me from being fully adapted to get over that type of like, your strength comes back. But anyways, I just learned to deal with it. But I noticed that like in between sets, I wouldn't be huffing and puffing. My body wouldn't be all like, pulsating and stuff. I was just like,
Is the pump
cool.
different? You get less pump?
I use sodium a lot to help with the pump. And so I've noticed that when I increase my sodium, I get the pump. So, and who cares about the pump? I mean, when you're like, you've been in the game for a long time. I mean, people just starting out, they like the pump. It makes them feel good about themselves. I don't give a shit. I don't give a
Well,
shit.
you need a pump all day long too.
Yeah. It's like,
Hold on, let me
so,
come under the desk and pump my
yeah,
shoulders real quick, and then
yeah,
okay, there we go.
yeah, basically.
And
So
there's
no,
the fitness industry right there, right? It's like angles, pumps, oil,
lighting, angles,
right,
pumps, lightings, filters,
and a little bit of
no.
help from your injectable friends.
And yeah, and some substances and supplements.
Yeah.
Anyways, but no, my training didn't change that much, depending on what diet I was on.
Why you want to do endurance training? Are you just like a
Dude,
sadomasochist?
dude, I met Dave Scott, 6-time Ironman world champion. He is like the best. He was the most. You should try and get him on your podcast, bro. Dave Scott, phenomenal guy, but he does keto.
Yeah.
And he
Dave Scott,
preached.
write it down.
Yeah, Dave Scott. I think his Instagram is Dave Scott 6X for 6 times. He's
All
a
right.
he's a badass. No, I had a really terrible relationship with cardio growing up as a wrestler. Like it was a punishment, bro. There was no joy in it whatsoever. Now that I moved out here to Colorado, it's like the triathlon capital of the world. And everybody's like whizzing by my house on bikes. I live on a bike path. Like
And
people
then
ride.
you'd be outside all day, right? Like
Yeah,
it's so
like,
nice.
and I'm like, man, I wish cardio, I didn't like view it as such in a negative way. So I'm gonna, try and I jumped in the pool, bro. My first pool experience was hilarious. Like dude, I walk into the pool and it's at a corporate gym and there's a bunch of people there, and like I'm shredded. So
Yeah.
like people are like, oh shit, this dude's gonna be a badass swimmer.
They think you're gonna
Everybody,
be like a
I
jet
could,
ski when you get
yeah,
in there.
yeah, yeah. I can just feel it, bro. I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting to get self-conscious. I'm like, oh shit, this is not gonna be good. Everybody's watching me, bro. Like I'm like, this is gonna be bad. Anyway, so I take off. And I almost, dude, I get to the end of the pool and I about passed out, bro. I was like, dude, terrible at it. Like just absolutely nothing. So people were laughing their ass off. I let everybody down. But anyways, I'm starting to get to a point to where I want to like push my fitness in a different direction. My bodybuilding days are kind of, I'm still enjoying them, but I want to ride something into longevity. And I feel like, jumping on the
You
bike.
like different directions are fun too. It's like if you lift one way for a certain amount of time, or even just changing the workout, like different lifts.
Yeah. So I train instinctively, so my workouts are always different. But I've trained technically the same style and method since I was like, in 6th grade. And so I want to try and get myself outside the box. I think you can discover yourself a lot when you challenge yourself to do shit you hate. So I'll let you know how it goes, man.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So I what I did was a few months ago, but I stopped. I started running more there's a lot of hills here.
Yeah.
I went too hard though, and I tweaked my spine a little bit because I didn't have maybe the stability in my hips.
Yeah.
I
I've
started
bent
running where I
knees.
blew. Yeah.
You did what?
I just kind of blew myself out from running too much because I was running every day. I'd like run to town and I didn't have a car. So I would run. So I had my car at my buddy's shop because he has like more tools. So I'd run down there to go work on the truck and then I'd run back up. And what I ended up doing though is I went too hard and I would just downhill running is really hard on the joints and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, bro. Yeah.
I got a massage one day, and I think my masseuse reckoned herself a chiropractor. And she opened up some stuff. Like she dug into my lower back, or my spine, where I had a really serious injury. And it opened it up and loosened it up, and I felt really good afterwards. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna run around now.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got real crooked for about 2 weeks. I was like literally in bed. I'm not trying to scare you away from endurance training, but I also
I
I was
know.
working my way up to endurance training, but I ended up pushing too hard, and my body just wasn't used to it. I thought,
No,
oh man, I'm strong, I'm young, I could do it. I
it's
ended up screwing
interesting.
myself up.
I've seen so in the bodybuilding world, Ronnie Coleman, most highly you know who Ronnie Coleman is. For anybody
Yeah,
that doesn't know, he's won like the most Mr. Olympia titles, and he's just a super badass. He's
lifted
now
heavy.
he's now he was like a no nonsense, super heavyweight type of lifter, lift insane amounts of weight, do an insane amount of drugs. Now, so we're getting ready to go to the Arnold Classic here coming up. Last year, I saw Ronnie Coleman at the Arnold Classic. He's now probably 60 years old, 65 years old. He's confined to a wheelchair, bro. He's had like every replacement surgery possible, 2 hips, knees, completely wrecked himself. But interestingly enough, when I was talking to Dave Scott a few weeks ago, his heart's a mess because of how much demand he's put.
Pressure. Yeah.
Dude, imagine like this dude is like
He
he
was
probably
deadlifting 800 pounds. Didn't he deadlift 800?
yeah, Ronnie Coleman, yeah.
For like
Yeah.
reps, but
Yeah,
like
he
for
was
fun.
you can Google him and watch the most insane training videos ever. He's the one that's famous for lightweight, baby. Like he would just say
Yeah.
lightweight and then it was like 800 pounds on the bar. Nah, but
Yeah.
man, he paid for it.
He
So, but
paid it.
anyways, let me see here. I got to talk to you about your supplement regimen. Can you
All right.
cruise through it real quick?
Yeah. All right. So I ebb and flow with supplementation of anything.
Yeah.
Funny enough, lately I've not even been taking magnesium.
Interesting.
Yeah. So all right. So I get every one of my clients, I put on magnesium.
Yeah.
You probably do the same. It's like magnesium
Yeah.
depletion is a thing. Sodium depletion, really easy to correct. You just tell people, hey, eat more salt. Usually 3 teaspoons of salt a day for most people will take care of it. Magnesium is a really hard one to get dietarily. Leafy green vegetables have it. Pure baker's chocolate, 100% cacao, which is like if Baker's chocolate is Corona light beer, then like 100% cacao is like your IPA from your local brewery.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting way to put
So
it. Okay.
yeah, so it's kind of like a fine wine versus like
Yeah.
$2 Chuck. So like some people can get magnesium in with that, but usually I don't have them take magnesium. Lately, I haven't been doing any magnesium or potassium supplementation. I've been on a crazy trip of actually doing far less vegetables as well. I used to be all about more veggies, more veggies, more veggies.
Yeah.
I found for me lately, playing around with just like more eggs, steak, fish, and fats, and less vegetables, and I've been doing well. Now, I'm not saying don't take magnesium. I'm just saying I've found a balance, and I do eat chocolate. I do eat lots of cacao. So each day I'll have, a decent amount of 100% cacao, which will be like cacao butter with some cacao powder or cacao liqueur, cacao paste, which is like baker's chocolate. So I get magnesium dietarily. My supplements lately have been MSM. You know MSM, right?
I don't.
Oh, all right. So methylsulfonylmethane for joint health and like glucosamine. You buy like glucosamine stuff.
Yep.
So
well, I heard it's a scam, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's lame too. MSM is an organic sulfur compound. Basically helps your cells to respire a little better.
Okay.
I got into MSM a while back because I was told it was good for joints and for bone health. I like MSM. I like how it makes my body feel. It's good for skin too. So I take
Is
MSM.
it a capsule? It's like an oral capsule? or a
I
powder?
take it in powder. I'm crazy. I like to taste the grossness of any, like if I'm taking an herb, I want it in my tongue because I want to feel the bitterness. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's the feedback loop that really starts the process. So I do MSM. I've been taking something called methylene blue also.
Interesting.
Methylene blue is a really cool thing. It's not for human consumption.
Really?
But yeah, so
I'm in
methylene,
then.
there you go. It's blue meth based. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Methylene blue it was created in like the 1800s. It was one of the first synthetic drugs ever on the market. And they used it for malaria. They used it for parasites. They used it for improving health and mitochondrial function. And it's a blue dye. So I use about 1 milligram of methylene blue 2 times a day. I'm out right now, so I don't use any. But what methylene blue does is improves mitochondrial function, which is
Yeah.
what keto does, right? So keto makes you burn fat through the mitochondria rather than like glucose,
Yeah.
which doesn't use mitochondria. And methylene blue helps to photosensitize your cells as well, meaning when you go out in the sun or if you get in front of like a red light for red light therapy, you'll be more receptive to the mitochondrial benefits of it. So I take that stuff, methylene blue. I eat a lot of salt and I eat magnesium rich foods from mainly chocolate right now. So my routine has been some methylene blue, MSM, methylsulfonyl which helps with my allergies as well. I've always had like seasonal allergies and
Yeah.
sensitivity to mold and stuff like that. Um,
What
and go ahead.
What are your thoughts on B vitamins?
B vitamins. I occasionally will take B vitamins. I went through a stint of doing quite a bit of B vitamins, mega dosing. I think they can be great, especially for people who have gut issues. So yeah, man, I think B vitamins can be fantastic. I don't take them right now.
Yeah.
Um,
What about L-carnitine? Yay or
Ooh,
nay?
that's a cool one. Yeah, yeah. L-carn. So acetyl L-carnitine versus L-carnitine. So there's like a little bit of a difference there. I think acetyl L-carnitine is more for like heart health. It almost makes you feel like a pump. And
Okay.
I think L-carnitine, I think they both actually help you to burn. They help you to burn fat.
Metabolize fat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But some people are like, oh, but you need carbs with them. I don't know. There seems to be. I took them, and I kind of stopped taking them, but I want to go back. I got to kind of look more into it.
I think for B vitamins, like mega dosing B vitamins can be a really cool thing. Liposomal B vitamins is an interesting one to look into.
What is it?
So liposomal, that just means they're mixed with fat. So
Okay.
if like you take liposomal vitamin C, it's in a fat molecule and that will help it penetrate into your cell membranes and you absorb it differently. Liposomal B vitamins are more expensive, but I think they're more bioavailable.
This guy, have you heard of oh God, it's like chlorophyll concentrate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How is it concentrated?
I wish I could go upstairs and get it. It's like really, it's green. It's in a dropper. I was talking to this guy at the supplement store, and like when people know their shit, like I just trust you, man. I'll buy whatever you tell me to buy. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about marine phytoplankton?
It's like, yeah, it's called Chlor Oxygen is the name brand. CHLOR Oxygen.
Yeah.
If you got to look into it, let me know what you think, bro. Because this guy like swore by it. Apparently, it increases red blood cell counts. Helps with respiration.
I think the green pigments are really good. I think green pigmented things are great. My issue is when I do too high of fiber, it just irritates my gut. Like if I eat too much fiber, I poop too much. It's just like if I don't eat a lot of fiber, I poop better.
This stuff went in green. It came out green too, man. But I'm just kind of like, this interesting. I'm not used to taking that kind of supplement, but I'm anxious. I'll let you know how it goes. But I was curious if you know
about that. You have to come on in a few weeks. We could talk about how that one goes. Now,
Yeah.
Speaking of green stuff, something I do eat that's like a supplement to some people, but I consider it a food is chlorella. Chlorella, you ever use that stuff?
No, I've never heard of it.
All right, so chlorella, you heard of spirulina, right?
Yeah. My wife was actually just talking about that the other day. It helps with
great stuff.
fertility, I think. Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. So you mentioned like red blood cell count. So to help with red blood cell count, these algae are actually one of the few plant-based protein sources that is like a real complete protein. So like, you know, like a lot of vegans and like I do battle with vegans all the time. I don't really have a problem with vegans in general.
Spoiler alert.
I
Spoiler alert.
generalize, make fun of vegans all the time because I get trolls that are vegans. I love vegans, some
Hey,
of them.
do a 21-day war on sugar and see how they feel about that. Trust me, bro. I just had to upload a video that I'm releasing soon addressing all the vegans that are just coming at me and my family, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
My favorite comment that I've gotten in the last month is, "You are literally killing your children. Go
yeah,
plant-based."
yeah. You're a terrible father, bro.
Yeah, you're a terrible person. It's all these like religious arguments.
Bro, it came
You're a
hard and
moral monster. You know what's an interesting, like when vegans try to moralize, and it doesn't, and I'm not saying like, pro or anti or taking a political stance, but if you ask the average vegan who talks about animal rights what they think about abortion, it's always an interesting contradiction, because it's like you can't kill a cow, but they love abortions. It's like, it's
that's
great to kill
interesting.
babies, but
It's
it's just a weird moral conundrum for them. If you think it's good to kill
that's
babies,
actually interesting. I never knew that or thought about it like that.
it's an interesting, yeah. So it's like, you want to
Well,
moralize it. Well, what about killing people? They'll usually say killing people is good. And to me, that's a red flag of, all right, something's wrong. If you think killing, you think the world's overpopulated and people are bad, but the animals getting killed are the problem. All right. So anyways,
yeah.
yeah,
So
chlorella.
here, let me segue. Oh yeah, go back to that.
All right, so the chlorella, it's an algae, and it's a
Okay.
single-celled algae, and it's like, if you get cracked cell wall chlorella, it's very bioavailable, so you can get in a lot of good like magnesium, potassium from it, but it also will bind to heavy metals and pesticides and stuff, and PCBs, and actually it helps to like bind up even estrogen mimicking chemicals that we have in like plastics and all the stuff that we're
Yeah.
exposed to. It'll actually kind of help take some of that stuff out. So it's like, I find that it's a really nice food to add. What I'll do, I'm a weirdo, I put in a video recently, I'll open up some sardines, and the sardines can has olive oil in it, the Wild Planet sardines with lemon and olive oil. Oh, they're so good.
I wish I liked it. Because it's so good.
They're
It's
all right.
so good for you.
Some people hate them, but I like them. So
But they're
what I'll do
so
is
good for you.
I'll drink the juice from the sardines, and then I'll throw down chlorella, and I like it. I like how it makes me feel. So that's another supplement that I do use,
Okay.
chlorella. And then one thing I've been using recently, I don't know if this takes away my natty status. I could be like, I'm unnatural
I'll
now.
be the one to tell you. So lay it on me. Let me
Tell
hear
me,
it.
it's WADA approved. It's BPC 157. You ever heard of that?
No, haven't. What does it do?
It's a peptide that actually helps your joints and ligaments to heal better, and it's really good for the gut. So what I've been doing lately is I've been using this peptide. I think I'm done for a while now because I used it for like 6 or 8 weeks. It's a peptide that is naturally produced in the human body. Supposedly, it's similar to human growth hormone, but it's not like these some of these other ones like GHRP6 or these crazy ones people take. But it helps joints and ligaments to heal, and it definitely seemed to help with some scar tissue I had in my hip. So that's another weird supplement that I have been using lately. I would recommend people look into BPC 157 if you have gut issues or joint health issues. It is WADA approved. So I think I'm still natural, but
You're natty. No,
there
you're
you
full
go.
natty.
I'm
You're
still
full,
natty. There we go.
You're full natty, bro.
But
Okay.
yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Red light therapy.
Ooh, there's red light behind me. I got to turn
There
it off.
she is.
My dog was there. Red light therapy is crazy. So red light therapy is a really cool thing. I think a lot of people are going to start doing this really soon. It's going to be blasting off. All right. So the lights that we are under most of the time in our homes and in our offices, I think most people feel it, but they're not the healthiest thing for us. So, those big fluorescent light tube things that you hear buzzing when you're in an office?
Yeah.
Those things always used to drive me crazy. And the way that the light hits, like, it makes you squint in a weird way. And it's like, when you stare at a computer for super long, if
It's
you
like
have to edit a video, it hurts, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to stare at like the screen for too long. It'll make you feel inflamed. Red light does the opposite of what blue light does in our body, certain frequencies of red light. So the sun gives us this spectrum of light from full spectrum light is sunlight. That's what we refer to full spectrum light, because it's the only thing that we know that gives what we call full spectrum light is the sun, which is this miraculous thing that we don't fully understand. Anybody that tells you we know everything about the universe, we know how everything works, they're fooling themselves, because this is all this crazy miraculous thing. And the deeper we probe, the next layer always pops up of just miraculousness. And so, I mean, All right, so red light therapy. There's certain frequencies of light that do certain things in the body. We wake up in the morning, the light hits our eyes, and that sets off the hormonal process for the day. So everybody's really into hormones now. Like you and I are both acutely aware of the effects that hormones have on body composition, especially hunger levels. So like you wake up in the morning and light hits our eye, it goes through our eye to the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain. That's basically the part, it's this photosensitive reactor in the brain that tells our body to start creating hormones. So it tells us time to wake up. Let's put some cortisol up. You need cortisol because it raises your blood sugar a little bit. If you have cortisol up for too long, it's bad. It makes your blood sugar high, makes you more insulin resistant, makes you break down muscle tissue. Now, if you're exposed to certain frequencies of blue light late in the day, it'll tell you not to make melatonin. If you're experiencing certain frequencies of red light at certain times of the day, it will trigger the process of creation of melatonin. So think about like for like all these years before we lit up with artificial light, our environments now, like the modern cityscape, it's all certain frequencies of light, very narrow bandwidth of light, that's in the blue range, and that's highly reactive. Now, it's actually been shown, the Navy knew this back in the 1960s, that blue light destroys DHA in the retina. And it actually stops the production of melatonin. Melatonin is really important for anti-inflammatory properties, anti-cancer properties. So just light in general, when you look at the effects and you really start nerding out on it and digging into it, like light is as powerful as carbohydrates and fat. And blue light is kind of like carbs. And red light is kind of like keto. Red light therapy improves mitochondrial function, improves energy production, releases nitric oxide, and dilates, like vasodilates you. So if you do like a set, say you have a Juve, like I've got this thing behind me, it's called a Juve. That light right there, it's like 300 watts of power, and it'll put out a certain amount of very specific frequencies of light in the red and near infrared range. Now it gets marketed for skin health, and people put it, that's the low hanging fruit. Like it'll get rid of acne and stuff like that for some people, but the benefits go deeper than that. Mitochondrial health, mitochondrial function is just basically how much energy you can produce. So red light therapy allows you to produce more energy in a specific way that's really beneficial and healthy. So if you do some sets like a bench press and then red light therapy your chest, you would recover better in between those sets, and you would actually vasodilate and get more juices flowing through there.
Do you think it would ever be as like crazy as like being able to go to a, you know how they have like tanning beds?
Yeah.
Would there ever be like a red, like if you were to get into the red light business now, I mean, like, because you say in 10 years you think it's going to be like everywhere, right? Like
totally
pretty commonplace. Is it expensive right now to buy the technology?
Kind of expensive depending on what you're getting. So you can make, there's two different units right now that I'm interested in. First, you got the Juve, which like if I'll put the link in the description of the video, Juve, JOOVV. We've got a discount code on it. They're a small company that we affiliate with, really cool family-based company. This guy built this device so his wife could use it because she was going to a salon and getting amazing results far beyond just skin health. She was like, I feel better. All my gut issues are gone. I'm sleeping better. I'm happier. My mood is boosted, but I don't want to go to the salon every freaking day. Like I'm doing this 3 times a week, and it costs this much money. And time is money, time is energy. So he ended up building a device that she could have at home. The device I've got behind me, it's like one panel. You can treat half your body with that in like 20 minutes. That costs about $1,000. But 20 minutes of time for treatment for $1,000 unit, you can get one that's half the size of it for like $500, but the treatment time increases because it's less space. You can get one that's $2,600, which as soon as I received this unit, I thought, ooh, I wish I had a whole tanning bed full of these or a whole.
No kidding.
It's like as soon as I got it and I felt what it did, like it was like when you first start keto. Like when you first start keto, you're just like, oh, I've got energy. I feel
euphoric.
Great.
You're just like, yo,
amazing.
What have I been missing my whole life?
Yeah, it was like, this is all right. So it feels like, when you go out in the sun and you just chill out in the sun and you get in that half asleep phase where you're just like, oh. And then you get out and you feel like totally recharged and energized. It's like you can do that in 10 minutes instead of having to spend a lot of time outside. So it's like a
Interesting.
shortcut to loss of inflammation to feel better.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, I could nerd out on red light therapy for a long time, but I think for what can it do? Like every snake oil salesman in the world makes all kinds of crazy claims, right? And we're used to hearing this is going to do this for you, it's going to do that for you, it's going to do everything. When you look at red light therapy, the possibilities are really insane. And when you look at the research, the anti-cancer properties, improved collagen synthesis, decreased inflammation, stable blood sugar, increased melatonin production, improved thyroid function if you treat the thyroid, like increased testosterone if you apply it to your testicles. So it's like there's a bunch of stuff that it does,
crazy.
and it almost sounds like snake oil. So
I was looking through your page and I was like, damn, that looks super interesting. I mean, you got to believe it. It's light. You know what I mean? Like, and
go out in the
there's
sun
this
and
guy,
see how you feel
Mercola.
after laying naked in the sun for 20 minutes. I mean, you feel amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you
I
feel
know every
great.
time I go to Florida to visit my mom, I always feel different, feel better. There's that guy, Dr. Mercola, who I attended some conference and he was talking about all that stuff. And then you're the only person I've seen actually apply it.
Yeah,
Let's
he's really
see.
into this stuff now. So red light therapy, I think the best place to start is just do some research. PubMed, red light therapy,
Yeah.
also known as LLLT, low level laser therapy.
And there's like light modular. What is it? Light modulate.
Photobiomodulation is the cool, trendy word now, right?
Dude, I'll never remember it. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I guess look more into that. But you share a lot of that stuff on your Instagram, which is cool. So I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I
Nice to
try to
see you.
nerd out on it a lot. You know, it's like I've been talking about keto for so long,
I
and
know, right?
keto's fantastic, but really it's like just like with what you do, it's a whole lifestyle approach, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's about the health of our mind, it's about the health of our
The
body, it's about
holistic.
the health of our community too, and the
Yeah.
family.
I
So
feel you on that. So
our kids like
I'm
it
on
too.
this 21-day war on sugar, and it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty alarming. Did you see the first video I uploaded, the intro? Watch that video.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
carved
love
out.
that. I love the intro.
I carved out. Thanks, man. It's I did it just to kind of put things into perspective, but I'm anxious. I'm curious, I should say, on what your thoughts on artificial sweeteners are, because that's where the real big shock is. Like, yeah, they put dextrose and maltodextrin in a lot of foods that I
Yeah.
didn't realize they put it in. But the artificial sweeteners, like for example, today I found out my toothpaste has damn artificial sweetener in it.
Yeah.
Well, what, and of course, I also cut out natural sweeteners, which could be controversial. Some here, some there. What are your thoughts in general on artificial sweeteners? Just from your,
so I love it. Hashtag war on sugar. I think it's
yeah,
fantastic. And I love the way you're going about it, because you're like, you know, it's like, all right, this is what I'm doing. This is my experience. And you're probing it. Like you're asking the right questions. And that's what I love, is people asking questions rather than everybody
yeah,
just like, I I get out and I say my opinions a lot. But also I think it's important that's like, I'm just a dude who like is exploring this, and I'm wrong all the time. I learn
aren't
things
we
new all
all?
the
The
time.
minute you think you're right all the time, you're nobody.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I try to be humble, and sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm a jerk. You know that. But anyways, it's like
No, we both, yeah. It
so
is interesting. The last time I'll tell you this right now, my 21-day war on sugar is much more fulfilling and gratifying so far than my 4,000 calorie challenge. I'll tell you that's the last,
right.
that
Over
one.
nutrition is just like, man, eating too much. Like even if it's like, I would have been interesting to see like all your like a full blood panel during the 4,000
Yeah,
calorie challenge.
I did, I did for this one or for the 4,000 calorie
So
one.
like I would have just been interested to see your CRP. So like your inflammation level
Inflammation for this challenge or the last one.
for the 4,000 calorie, like before and after.
Yeah. Okay. So I did my HSCRP test in the beginning, my very
Yeah.
first one. So as a matter of fact, I read my results, but I was at my sponsor, which is EAS,
Uh-huh.
and they're owned by Abbott, who owns like Similac, Pediasure,
Yeah.
Pedialyte. They're a billion-dollar company. And I'm sitting here talking to one of their scientists about my blood work because I wanted to get his opinion. Legal team called me up and said, "You got to pull that shit now." Like,
Oh man.
yeah, they were like,
Too
dude,
much. Yeah, they're
they were like,
freaked out.
hey, they were like, pull it out and don't use our ketone meter anymore either. Because Abbott's the one that owns the Precision Extra. They sponsor me. They sponsor me, and they don't want me using it. Anyways, my HSCRP number was less than 1.0. before the challenge.
Yeah.
So I did not, after that experience, I just decided to forego putting my blood work out there again. I was just kind of like, whatever. But that's
It'd
interesting
be an
that you bring
interesting
that
thing
up.
because did you feel that good like on 4,000?
I had a lot of energy, bro. Like I
Yeah.
really did. Like it was extremely difficult, but I wasn't like blah. It was just like, I don't know. Some people were like, maybe you weren't in a caloric restriction. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, how do I know? Because I don't know how many calories I was burning. I
Right.
felt
And
like,
also, but we don't. All right. So here's the thing, and you've made this point, and I think it's interesting. I've seen it made in other ways where it's like, okay, and I've said this before, like, all right, so keto is great, but it doesn't mean that you can eat as much food as you want and still lose weight, because if you're still overeating, you could still not lose weight. But then there's the thing of like, all right, the calories in, calories out argument. Just like you said, you don't know how many calories you're actually burning.
yeah,
And just because we put calories in our mouth doesn't mean we burn those calories.
yeah.
Sometimes we
It's not
pee
like
them out. Like
it's
with
not
if
like
you,
putting money in the wallet and taking money out of the wallet. It's not like
yeah, it's
that.
like you might
It's
just be pooping out half the calories because you're
yeah.
eating food that you don't digest. And so there's so much going on, and there's no real like definitive
I
thing of
think
like,
my point was the fact that I was eating. I did it more or less to. They kind of backfired. My initial intention was, what? Hey, watch me eat 400 grams of fat every day and not and still be shredded. You know
yeah.
what I mean? That was like my point.
And
But
then
then
it turned
obviously
into
the
like this, like everybody
cal
disagrees or agrees, and it's like that's the internet, though, you know. And I even played into it, and it was dumb of me. And I remember I criticized those because I thought I disagreed, but then when I actually listen to what you're saying, it's like, oh no, he's just saying the same thing I'm saying. You want to
yeah.
intuitive eat eventually, and keto makes it easier to not eat a bunch, and that's why it works. So it's like,
Yeah, so there was a lot of, but it got a lot of conversation started. It got a lot of people thinking.
it's good.
But anyways, back to my question. What are your thoughts on artificial sweeteners, just
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general?
All right. So artificial sweeteners, I don't like them. I'm
Yeah, I
not.
don't either.
Most natural sweeteners too, I'm not a big fan of. Now,
Really?
yeah, well, most natural sweeteners. Now, like stevia, I think can be, and I'm just talking about for taste. Like, I'm not a big fan of the taste of stevia, however you say it.
However you want to say it.
If it's done correctly, like my wife can make chocolates where she uses some stevia and some erythritol. Both of those are natural sweeteners. I find I do okay with those. They don't bother my gut.
I
But
thought erythritol was artificial sweetener. Am I wrong?
erythritol is actually natural sweetener, and erythritol is
Okay,
present in the human bloodstream and in the human body naturally, which is a
interesting.
really weird thing. What they have found, erythritol is present in the human bloodstream and in the human body while people are putting on body fat. So that doesn't mean that it makes you put on body fat, but it's something that you can measure in the blood. When somebody's storing fat, erythritol will be present. It's a
Yeah.
sugar alcohol. Now, some people have said, well, that
Oh,
means
okay,
it's
sure.
going to
Okay,
make you
yeah.
gain weight. So it's like, I don't think it makes me gain weight. It doesn't make me what? All right. So my thoughts on sweeteners. Taste is huge. And if you taste something sweet, your body physiologically is told carbohydrates. And
Yeah.
what do carbohydrates signal to your body? They signal, well, usually they signal time to eat a lot of food. Because
Yeah.
when carbohydrates are available, that's when we're storing nutrients. So like if you've had a winter and in that winter you're in ketosis because you don't have carbs available, you don't have bananas in the, in the dead of winter in Ontario, or if you're like a Northern European from Scandinavian countries, where's the carbs coming from in the winter? Like, unless you stored a bunch of berries or, I mean, they would have alcohols that they would have fermented. So they maybe get some carbs from that. But most of our ancestors, they were eating a very low carbohydrate diet for a portion of the year. Then carbohydrates become abundant and you eat them to store nutrients and then burn the fat off in the winter. We
Interesting.
have an abundance of those nutrients all year long. So it's like I can go to 7-Eleven, not in Ecuador, but like you
I
can
was
go to the
gonna say,
corner store and you can just buy whatever. Like you can get all these carbs and eat them all day long. And every time you give it to your body's like, ooh, overabundance. Let's store some nutrients,
yeah.
and let's eat more of it, because when you have carbs, you got to eat it quick. When you find a cache of berries in the wild, you're not going to just like, oh, I'm going to eat 3 ounces of these, and then I'll come back and I'll eat
Yeah.
3 ounces tomorrow. No, it's you eat them, because if you don't, the next guy's going to show up or a bear is going to show up and eat them.
Yeah,
So
and the season will be over before you know it. I think now that I've taken a hyper approach to this war on sugar thing, the artificial sweeteners, it's just crazy to see how they're used way like I was always anti artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
But then I realized I was kind of a hypocrite because they were in a lot of the shit that I was eating.
Damn, I've been eating these things.
I
I
know.
didn't
I was like,
know.
dude, I didn't even know that was like in
Yeah.
ketchup. It's in mayonnaise. It's in
Oh
my
man.
salad dressing. It's in my freaking
You
toothpaste.
start looking at what's in
My
the
gum, bro. My gum had aspartame in it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah. So
like,
now I'm not a fan of aspartame. I know that like okay, so the there's a lot of conflicting views on aspartame. For me, better safe than sorry. I know people who have had seizures from aspartame. So
damn.
I know that it can have neurological effects. I just don't eat it. If I ate some aspartame, I'm sure I'd be fine.
Yeah. And everything in moderation's fine. It's just when you take a close look at it, it is just kind of alarming. But you can chew,
Absolutely.
if you chew gum, it's not like you're going to, I'm sure you get that question asked a lot.
Yeah.
Can I chew
Can I
gum
chew
on
gum
keto?
on keto? For sure. Yeah, chew gum. But look, when you chew your gum, does the gum automatically make you say, ooh, I want 5 Diet Cokes?
Yeah, that's
Like
interesting.
sometimes that happens. It's like, okay, can I have Diet Cokes on keto? It just depends. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're 300 pounds and you cut out your carbohydrates and you eat steak and eggs now and you lost 100 pounds, but you still drink 5 Diet Cokes a day, you're way better off than if you were 300 pounds and still doing. So it's like, it
Yeah.
depends. Like, for me, I don't like Diet Coke. I don't need it. But for some of my clients, like maybe some artificial sweeteners are fine. I
Yeah.
think really it comes down to like, where are you at? Like, what do you need to do to get the results you want? And some people might
Yeah.
be good with like eating stevia with every meal. Some people, it might make them eat more food because it tells you it's a carb still. It doesn't like, it
It
might not
does.
raise your blood sugar like carbs do, but it's going to raise your hunger levels like carbs do.
And I have a hard time believing it's not going to cause your body to secrete just a little bit of insulin. I mean,
For sure. Some of them are insulinogenic for sure. 888 says aspartame combined with caffeine kills off brain cells. Now I haven't seen that like research fleshed
wait,
out.
say that again?
This person says aspartame combined with caffeine kills off brain cells.
Shit.
I
Good to
don't know
know.
if that's really true, but I know that it can be neurologically damaging to some people. And to me, that's enough to say, well, I don't need to eat the aspartame. So I used to eat chew gum every day when I was a kid. And I know
Yeah,
when you're cutting weight, like chewing on something is nice, right?
like ice cubes. It tricks your brain into thinking you're getting food.
Yeah. So you used to do that probably when you did wrestling cuts, like
Yeah,
gum, probably your
I would
buddy.
chew a lot of gum and I would chew a lot of ice cubes. And I would eat a lot of rice cakes because rice cakes don't weigh anything at all. And
Right.
there's no calories in them.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, the artificial sweeteners, for me, I don't eat any of them. Like maltitol,
Yeah.
what's the other one? Did
There's
you
so
make a
many,
video about
bro.
the
There's
new one
so
in
many.
Quest bars that makes you poop like a rhinoceros who ate a pile like it
Dude, it's crazy because I just think they're dangerous in the beginning. I
yeah.
think they kind of, I just caution people when they first start being reliant because it's so easy now, bro. How many keto companies were there when you and I first started?
I know,
None.
man. Well, and
Now,
there's keto junk food everywhere, right? So
yeah,
it's like
now
now everybody's got their new keto product and it's
I
got
get sent shit every single day now from people. It's like, yo, man, like
what is this?
everybody's trying to satisfy your sweet tooth on keto now, man.
You want your cake and you want to eat it too. So I
Yeah.
usually say in the beginning, so we've got 2 books. Jessica's hollering about her baking book, right? You want to come say hi? You can.
Yeah, yes, let's give that a plug because it's a fascinating, amazing book.
Thanks, man. So she made this book, and it's the ultimate guide to low carb baking. There's
Yeah.
no artificial sweeteners in there. The only sweeteners we opted to use are erythritol, which is a natural sweetener that is a sugar alcohol that has less than of like
It's the lesser of all evils.
it's a lesser of all them evils. And also we use some stevia. So we show you how to use
Cool.
erythritol, which is we also use a monk fruit extract, which is like
Yeah.
similar to stevia. If you use it right, it's not so bad. If you use it wrong, it's too strong. It's like you need like 1 drop of this monk fruit extract, and it doesn't affect blood sugar negatively. The monk fruit extract actually helps to lower blood glucose. So we use a product called Lakanto, and you guys
I've seen that on your channel. Yeah.
we like Lakanto. So they're another small company we affiliate with. So we've got we do an affiliation with them. And we approached them because we used their product and we liked it. So we've got kids, it's like our kids aren't on keto and they don't eat sugar all the time, but they do eat more carbohydrates than we eat. We let Ariana have some gelato in town today, like with some sugar in it. It's like we try to give them as much of a whole foods diet as possible. They like Lakanto. They'll eat chocolates that are made of Lakanto. They'll eat.
I'm gonna look into it. It's
It's
interesting
good.
enough. Do you get people ask you a lot whether your kids are on keto?
Yeah, all the time. And if I say no, they're like offended, some of them. So
Dude, I just pissed off every vegan in the entire world for my very first video for the 21 Day War on Sugar, because in it, we went to Chick-fil-A, and like my son with fruit, bro. Like when I first started introducing fruit, like it's like he wants that fruit first. He won't eat. Like it's crazy. You see
yeah.
it. He's just like, he'll scream for it. And so in the video, I was like, yeah, we have to hide the fruit now, and so that he'll eat his protein, so that he'll eat his protein first, and then we give him the fruit. And the
Yeah.
vegans just let me have it. Why would you
But
hide the
there's
fruit?
protein in a banana. The protein's in a
Dude,
banana, mate.
dude, it
30
was like,
bananas a day, mate. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
the vegan world is really wild.
anyways, yeah,
And
we
you
don't
know
have
what's
to.
cool? Not all vegans are like that. It's just the ones on the internet. It's
I
like
know, man. It's
when
sad.
you go vegan, just turn in your keyboard. You know,
Yeah.
just turn it in.
No, but it's I don't my son doesn't follow keto. I try and keep the carbs as clean as possible and stay away from like the refined sugars and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's difficult. It's difficult, as you know, because carbs are super convenient. And
so easy,
it's
man.
like, here, dude, like
It's
just
so
take it.
hard. All right, so like you're obviously you love your child, you live with your kids, like you work from home now, so it's like
Yeah.
you're there for your boy, and it's like you want him to eat the best food possible, and that can be so confusing to a lot of parents. That can be really hard.
Yeah.
I definitely think you're on the right path of like with Ariana. We went through a period too where it was like we noticed when she would eat fruit that her mind would just get a little unfocused. She would be more grumpy. She
Yep.
would be more volatile emotionally.
Yep. It's scary in children. It really is. It's like, and I'll tell you this right now, bro. I was a terrible student, man. Like I would fall asleep after lunch every single day in math class.
Yeah.
And it's like, it all makes sense now. Dude, I was eating pizza and French fries and like cherry Coke and for lunch, and then an hour later my blood sugar and insulin came crashing back down and my head was on the desk. Like
It's
that's the one thing I wanted to raise awareness for with this 21 Day War on Sugar, is just how much children are just like, dude, like it's sad. Is now that I
maybe
have a kid,
maybe that
now
would
that
be
I have a
interesting. What if you
kid,
did a whole week of like vlogging the struggle of trying not to give like
your
how do you
kid
like
sugar,
yeah, like how do you feed your kid healthy?
dude.
And I think that like I love the way you do the honest vlogs because like you talk about like you open up
Yeah.
and that can be kind of dangerous too because it's like you get everyone criticizing you, telling you what's right, what's real, and it's like you got to tune it out sometimes. But I think it would
Yeah.
be really interesting to see of like, all right, so here's the war on sugar. Obviously,
Do
you're
it.
not going to
Do your
restrict
own
all
spin on it.
carbohydrates,
Do
but
your
like,
own
how do you,
spin on it. Do it. You
I
should do
will.
it.
Maybe I'll do like feed 21 Day War on Sugar with the kids
Yeah, do a
because
7 day. You got to cut it down for the kids. They can't make it 21 days. They'll hate you,
no.
bro.
Well, I
Do
wouldn't want to put my kids on a super low carb diet because what
nah.
we do here's what we've reached the conclusion we've reached for our kids.
Okay.
We don't even feed them starches really. Like I don't know, just we don't like starches. We don't keep them around. We don't make beans or legumes really because we don't eat it. We
Yep.
feed our kids all the keto foods we eat, high fat, nutrient dense keto foods, and then we'll have stuff like bananas around. We'll have pineapple around, and we'll have other foods that are like non-keto that we eat. Ariana's obsessed with cheese, so she eats way more cheese than I want to eat. And so we leverage, right? So it's like, all right, you want the cheese? You got to eat these beef heart meatballs, or you've got to
Yeah.
have some cod liver. You've got to eat some fish. So what we do is just like you said, we try to get protein in first, and then when they get the protein in, then the carbs come after. Their
Yeah.
mood, the stability of their energy levels, their like enjoyability, and their focus improves dramatically. And I think that
Yeah.
that's like, man, the 21 Day War on Sugar for the kids is like that's powerful, but it's also sadly it's
Unrealistic.
controversial. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
controversial.
controversial. It's unrealistic for them.
Yeah.
I think my goal was just to kind of raise awareness. If I can get people to read more ingredient labels and kind of realize that the enemy really is sugar and that it's surrounding you,
It's everywhere.
even if you can't make it 21 days, if you try just making it one, at least you'll have some more understanding of what's going in your body.
Like the
It's
first meal, like if you could just make the first meal
yeah,
based
like
around
it,
protein, fats, and veggies, or just like fats and protein, that you feel
yeah,
way
but
better.
people are just like counting calories. So they're like, yo, this cereal, 100 grams, 100 calories in this bowl of cereal. It's like, yeah, but dude, your blood sugar's at like 130 now.
Yeah, exactly. But your bowl's like 3 liters. Your bowl's not one bowl. Come
Yeah,
on.
dude, it's crazy how like uh you go to Starbucks, right? And like they'll show you how many calories are on the menu, but they'll never, ever, ever show you how many grams of sugar are in their shit. You know what I mean? They're never going to tell you that. Yeah. So wish me luck, man. I'm about halfway through it. I'll
Yeah,
finish
I
out
love it.
strong. But
I love it.
yeah, we
I
still
mean,
got
I
people.
like
We still got some people watching our boring asses, bro, or what?
we got people who are just like, we don't want this ever to end. People are
Oh,
just
really? So we'll
loving
just
it. It's
do a
all
marathon.
positive, man. I
We'll
haven't had
do
to
a
kill a
marathon.
single person. You know, I think I've gotten most of my trolls. I've found them out because I took like a month-long break, and then as soon as I came back, they all joined on a live broadcast and tried to talk shit, and I got to ban them all. So you know, you get like 10 dislikes within 5 minutes of your video putting out. It's like those are the ones who
Yeah.
really hate you. I
Yeah.
got rid of like 5 of them
That's
on the
smart,
last.
dude.
That's
That's
what you got to do.
smart.
You take a break, and then
You
when you
bait
come
them
back, the trolls are hungry,
and they
and
can't
you just kick
resist.
them out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
can't resist.
The
They
appetite
expose
is just
themselves.
the appetite is insatiable. That's a good strategy because I always do watch within like 2 minutes of posting a video, I'll get at least 5 dislikes. I'm like,
Yeah, you're like this. It's the
damn
same
vegans,
person every
bro.
time. It's the same
At
ones.
least they're on the notification squad, right?
Yeah. You hate me so
Okay.
much. You're getting notifications still, though. Okay.
I got another question for you here. Top 3 books.
Ooh, man. Top 3 books. I mean, I can talk about what I've got. What I've got right here.
Yeah.
Um.
Well,
All
you
right. Well,
can't
top
list.
three books. Number one. Number one.
You can't list your wife's cookbooks either. Those don't count.
Oh, there's 2 books right there.
Shameless plug. Link in the bio.
I mean, how about I'll be super controversial. This is really edgy nowadays somehow. But how
Yeah.
about the King James Bible? Like,
Okay.
how about like there's one like so offensive.
A lot of lessons in there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like the Bible, great. Another book that's really interesting. Let's see. I mean, man, I'm obsessed with books, and like picking favorites is always
Yeah,
really
no.
really
I figured it'd
hard.
be tough for a guy like you.
Uh,
What are you currently
The
reading?
fourth phase of water is an interesting one for people interested in health and longevity.
Say it
And
again.
that has to do the fourth phase of water. So that
Okay.
has a lot to do with red light therapy as well. It's
Okay.
kind of like a gateway to understanding the effects of light on water and the stages of water and just kind of some of the questions we have about biology and about human health in general. Um, Water is incredible. So the fourth phase of water
All right.
by Gerald Pollack. Great one. What's that? Yeah, that's the
I've
oh no,
heard that name
also
before. I've heard
yeah,
that
the
guy's
fourth
name before.
you would like it. Yeah, Gerald Pollack. So he's a researcher based out of Washington, and he found that if you put water in a hydrophilic substance, which your blood vessels are hydrophilic, or a clay jar is hydrophilic. And most of the ancients used to bury clay jars in the earth to like do certain things with water and to ferment foods and stuff like that. So hydrophilic material plus water equals charge separation in the water. So when we have water in our blood, and it's in a hydrophilic substance, it'll naturally charge separate, meaning you'll have like a little battery in the water. So what he showed is that you can actually create more of a strong battery by shining light on it, by full spectrum sunlight. So if you put water out in the sun, it'll charge separate more and it'll create what's called an exclusion zone. And that'll push particles out and it'll make it so where if you were to take a little probe near the edges of the glass or the clay vessel, you would see more charge. So he then gets into how this affects how this affects like physics. So like when you look at a cloud and the cloud levitates and water that was in the ground, when the sun hits the ground, like when the sun's overhead, the water will gravitate towards it explains a lot of different things, a lot of questions we have about the function
Interesting.
and movement of water. So the fourth phase of water by Gerald Pollack, that's a great one. And another one that I would say is really beneficial for people interested in health, longevity, stuff like that is The Body Electric. The Body Electric by
Okay.
Dr. Robert O. Becker. Really cool book about like him studying regeneration. He was trying to figure out why amphibians can regenerate limbs, but humans can't.
Oh, that's fascinating.
He
Interesting.
partially regenerated rats' legs.
I remember pulling tails off lizards as a kid, and that shit would like you'd see some that had like half grown back and stuff, like they grow
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, why does that happen? Why, when we cut off a finger, we can't grow it back? They ended up finding that in a solid, strong electrical current along the nerves is crucial. And if you cut off the electrical current, the regeneration will stop in salamanders. He ended up improving and speeding up the recovery of salamanders using electrodes and electricity, but he also partially regenerated a rat's limb using electricity as well. His research ended up getting stonewalled and shut down for some political reasons because he kind of ended up finding out the link between electromagnetism and the electromagnetic fields that we've erected around us in modern society are having a negative effect on our ability to create electrical current in the body, which then results in inflammation. But what's really, 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 really cool is if you look at the body electric and you look at the fourth phase of water, they both point to the generation of electrical energy in the human organism being crucial for health and for communication in the body. And if you put those two together and like how light interacts with water, you kind of get kind of a bigger picture of like why you feel better when you're out in the sun outside in Colorado, and you probably feel better after going for a walk around a river than you do after going inside to a gym and working out, right? So it's like there's a difference in how that feels and like our inflammation levels. It really adds a lot, and it kind of confirms my bias of liking to be outside and liking natural light and sunbathing and these things.
Totally.
So it puts the picture together there. So I'd say those 3 books.
Fascinating.
Those are probably the 3 top books that I'd recommend, you know, right now.
Nice. Good stuff, man. That's next level shit, bro. That's why I like you, man, because you're every time I watch one of your videos, I'm like, all right, next level, here we come.
I try.
Always raising the bar. Does anybody have any questions in the comments?
I've got questions for you though. All right, so supplementation. Okay. So you talked about supplements earlier. Like, what's your routine look like lately as far as like, you know, supplements, and what does your daily routine as far as like food intake look like? I'd love to hear what you're doing now.
I like right now I'm keeping it very simple in terms of food, sticking to whole foods. A lot of eggs, a lot of steak. I don't eat
How many
bacon.
eggs in a day?
4 to 6.
Okay.
What's
the most eggs you've ever eaten in a day?
8.
Nice.
I could eat eggs.
I did 18 eggs the other day.
Did you really?
Like 2 weeks ago, that was all I ate. I had 6 eggs 3 times that day. That's all I ate.
Yeah, I'm totally about it. I
felt good. I thought I was going to get like weird. Like, no, I felt really, really good.
Dude, let me tell you how close I came to doing the steak and eggs challenge. Like, I was like, yo, I'm going to try this shit. But it seemed pretty boring. Anyways,
it does. It sounds boring.
Yeah, I eat a lot of macadamia nuts. I like peely nuts. You should reach out to the owner of Peely Nuts, man, and start working with him. You guys would get along crazy. Have you talked to him before or no?
You know, Peely Nuts, I tried Peely Nuts a while ago from some vegan friends of mine who are really into them.
Yeah.
They're like chocolate. They're like chocolate junior.
Are you sure we're talking about the same Peely Nut, man?
Peely nut butter? Have you ever had Peely nut butter?
Yeah.
Peely nut butter is like it's like chocolate almost.
Yeah, but look, I don't know, man. If there's chocolate, I'm down to try that one.
Peely nuts combined with chocolate. If you're to stone ground Peely nuts with chocolate, it'd be really good.
They're extremely expensive is the problem.
Yeah,
and then I eat green leafy vegetables, but like you said, I think they're kind of overrated a little bit.
Yeah. Right, I think there's I've got some clients who are like, I'll tell them this now too. I used to just be like, yeah, you got to get the veggies in.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that like some people do really great with them and some people don't need them. So.
I'm fine with them and I'm fine without them. I certainly don't like avoid them or anything.
Yeah.
I love tomato mozzarella salad. I'm a huge cheese fanatic. And so when I did this 21-day war on sugar, I was like, okay, lactose, cutting out cheese, cutting out heavy cream. And then people started being like, hey, there's like lactose-free cheese or cheeses like sharp cheddars that are lower in lactose and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to see if I can cut cheese out for 21 days. So it's kind of like my challenge within the challenge.
Right, because you were already off the sugar. So you're like, where else can I go with
I'm just going all in, dude. I'm
like
just going
cheese
all
is your new sugar, right? It's like cheese is what gives you the... Yeah.
But cheese I've never had a problem with, but it's also one of those things that people want to cut out because they're hitting plateaus and stuff. So I'm like, all right, well,
it's so easy to eat a lot of cheese, right? So you hit a plateau, like usually the first thing is like, are you eating nuts or eating cheese? Not because they're bad, but because I can take a bag of nuts and I have no idea how many I'm eating. I'll just eat the whole thing. And it's like a lot of food.
And the carbs add up quick, man.
Oh yeah.
And they are insulinogenic. You know, and with the cheese, I mean, I don't know what it is about cheese that messes some people. Obviously, the lactose component, but I love cheese, bro. I don't even want. We can't talk about it anymore. What was I talking about?
Does it hurt?
Oh,
Does it hurt your
supplements. So
heart?
supplement wise, believe it or not, I'm very simple when it comes to supplements. I've never really needed them that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never really experimented a lot. Like I said, it's always been easy for me to build muscle and stay lean. So I never really like got into the crazy supplements you can take in the weightlifting world.
Yeah.
Creatine, I do use creatine.
Yeah. I think I'm a non-responder to creatine, so I
Really?
just
Yeah, some people love it. Yeah, some people love it and some people, you know, they don't notice much. Uh what else do I take? Pantothenic acid, which is B5. I take a
okay. Why
B6.
B5?
I just heard that it's important, and so I just threw it in there. I
Yeah.
don't really know. I just heard. I don't remember who I even
Feel it?
heard it from. And I was like, okay, I'll pick some up. That's just what I'm currently doing. Do you know anything about it? I know it
No,
sounds
not
terrible.
specifically
I know it sounds
B5.
terrible. I'm taking a supplement. I don't know why I'm taking, but
No, but you know what? Sometimes it's like, all right, I'm gonna take it and I'll see if I feel
yeah,
anything. And if
that's
you
where I'm
notice,
at. I'm in when the bottle runs out, I probably won't use it anymore, to be
okay.
honest.
Yeah,
I do take magnesium plus
yeah.
calcium at night just because it helps me sleep.
You take zinc too, like ZMA,
I
zinc
think it
magnesium.
has zinc in it, but in my
Yeah,
little, it's one of those like big brand mix a bunch of stuff together in a pill
yeah,
type of things.
yeah.
What else do I take? I take leucine,
Nice. Just
which
leucine. Just
just
leucine.
leucine, which is horrendous
BCAA.
to take. It's
Yeah,
extreme. It's
it tastes
extreme,
like you took someone. Someone I read this a long time ago. It tastes like you ground up duck feathers. Is what someone
dude.
said.
Yeah, it is. And so I'll never forget the first time I took leucine because it doesn't mix well with water for anybody that's never tried it before. It's like the water, it just doesn't mix. It just sits on top of the water. So I usually take my creatine, I take the scoop and I'll put it in my mouth and then I'll just chug down some water, right?
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I do it, you know, whatever. So I tried doing the same thing with leucine before I knew anything about it.
I did that with BCAAs back in the day too. Like when I thought BCAAs, like I'm not big on BCAAs now, just because
Yeah.
I just think I don't need them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember trying that, and it just like sticks everywhere, and it
Dude,
doesn't
it
go
just,
down.
dude, I
It's
like,
gross.
it was like one of those, like I had to spit it out.
Yep.
Anyways, but I do take leucine, but interestingly enough, as you know, when you're in ketosis, you have elevated levels of leucine in your bloodstream already.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm sure I could do without it. I am doing without it now because the only way I can take it is by cutting it with a flavored water enhancer. And
Uh-huh.
my flavored water enhancer has shitloads of artificial sweeteners in it. So I haven't found a way to take it, but I haven't noticed a difference so far.
Yeah.
Anyways, what other supplements? Fish oil, I just take just for peace of mind, I
What
think, but I
type of fish
still,
oil do you take? Have you ever
what's that?
tried? Have you ever tried like instead of fish oil? Have you ever tried fermented cod liver oil?
No, I have not. Is that it's a supplement
I
form,
mean, I
right?
know it sounds really sexy
Yeah, I
and
was like, wait a minute.
awesome.
Is
Fermented cod liver oil, it's like kind of like I would say it's a cleaner version of fish oil. So the thing
okay,
with
I'll
fish
look
oil,
for it. Can you
yeah,
find
yeah.
it at
So
like
I like
normal?
Green Pastures. We don't affiliate with them at all, but Green Pastures, they make a nice one. I give it to my kids, and they have one that's like mint flavored. You can get it in capsules or just like in spoons. I prefer the fermented cod liver oil for me. I find that fish oil pills, like there's, I don't know, like I've maybe it's a placebo, and I'm getting anti-placebo affected, but I've heard that they get rancid easily. So I just,
Yeah,
you know,
I can believe it.
yeah.
And it's just like one of those things where I don't know if it's a scam or what. Like I just, but I'll try that. I'll definitely try that recommendation.
Try
I
the
think that's,
fermented cod liver oil. You might like it more than the fish oil.
yeah, I will definitely. I
Your,
told
you
you
know
I
what, your
kind of
son,
I
the
kind of
reason he
went,
got into this fermented cod liver oil was for Ariana when she was a kid. Like when she was a little baby, she started getting dental caries, which sent us on this whole like
yeah,
learning about high fat diet. We started giving it to her so that you know she would have better teeth formation and bone density because it has a lot of vitamin A and it's got a lot of vitamin D. Um, but yeah, mostly the vitamin A in there is really good for you.
um, all right, I'll check that out. What else do I take? MCT oil, obviously, if you consider that a supplement.
It's kind of like a food though, right? Kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah, yeah. That doesn't count. And that's really it. I take a greens
oh,
product.
yeah.
Um,
So you're minimalist on the supplements,
I
like you.
am, believe it or not. Yeah, believe it or not, I am a minimalist on the supplements. I find most of that stuff, being in the fitness industry, most of that stuff's kind of a scam.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to lose my sponsors right now. My sponsor does make amazing products.
Yeah.
I just kind of keep it simple. If I do a whey protein, I'll always just add fat to it, but I don't really do whey protein that much anymore.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
my
good. Yeah,
company's
man. What do you think about whey protein? Like, do you think it actually, do you like, it almost seems like it's just like makes your pee expensive to me. Like it's so.
yeah. Me personally, I don't take whey protein. I find it kind of, it's it's big business, man. It's I don't. I could take it. I could get away with taking it. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary to build muscle. It's like people make it out to believe, like, oh, you got to go slam protein shakes in order to build muscle.
Right. No, it's
But
obviously not.
I'll tell you what I absolutely hate is fat burners.
Oh man.
Dude, like I get a lot of people asking me about that stuff, and
Hmm.
I'll tell you right now, dude, if you want to take yourself to an early grave, mess your metabolism up forever, and become an asshole, go take some fat burners.
Now, what's in a lot of these fat burners?
Dude,
Like,
just ephedrine, all kinds of herbs that's ramps up your
body
entire,
supplements.
dude, it just sends a shockwave through your body, and it probably, all of it is probably designed just to starve you, to blunt your appetite so
Yeah.
much on stimulants. Basically, you're just rocking yourself on stimulants so much that you don't want to eat. It's like being on cocaine all day long.
Mm.
um uh
Yeah, you know what, the fat, I think fat burners, everyone gets like fat burners, like crazy pre-workouts and stuff. But what about just like most of these things, when you look at pre-workouts, for instance, like they're mostly based around caffeine. So
yeah,
it's like, well, you could probably drink coffee or just take plain caffeine and you get the same effects that'll blunt appetite a little bit,
yep.
make you burn fat just because it blunts appetite. But you're not going to take something that just makes you melt fat off. Like
No,
there's nothing that's going to do that. And I think we all want the quick, easy way.
let food be thy medicine.
Right. Food, right? Rather like whey protein, maybe not the best food. You know, when I look at whey protein, it's kind of like you got to look at it for what it is. Whey protein is a really, really awesome way to market something that's basically going to get thrown away if you don't market it. It's cheese
Yeah, that's
manufacturing
true.
byproduct. When you're done making cheese, you've got a bunch of whey. Whey is great. Like it's a healthy food.
Yeah.
I don't know about like the processing it into powder. I don't know what that does to it, but like real whey, it's not like a bad food. It's good.
No.
But you're basically being marketed a overpriced product that's just the byproduct of cheese manufacturing.
Yeah, I just think I think a lot of young kids, you just need to put things into perspective. It's not like you're going to drink a protein shake and look like me tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's
It takes one year.
if you're
It
trying
takes
to
one
lose,
whole year to look exactly like
yeah,
this.
you need at least 6 months.
And no, I'm joking, more like 20 years of like lifting heavy.
Yeah,
Like, not heavy, but
maybe
intense.
if you do like 3 protein shakes a day, it'll definitely speed it up. No, but anyways, I think it's dangerous for people that want to lose weight, especially. And I get like these like Shakeologies and all these like what's it called? There's like all these pyramid schemes run off these protein supplements and stuff. And most of these people are doing it to lose weight. And they're like, here's a protein shake. Like,
Yeah,
dude, then
there's something that makes it so that you don't have to change your habits and you don't have to change how you view food.
And is more than likely gonna, you're insulin resistant, so it's more than likely gonna spike your blood sugar and insulin because they're not adding fat to it. Now I will say this, shameless plug, my sponsors EAS they're coming out with a high fat shake, which and they're using stevia.
Protein and fat together.
So it's actually the ketogenic ratio. So it's 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carbs in the shake. Yeah. I think they're using coconut cream, butter powder, MCTs, obviously. But
so it seems like there's a lot of people in the fitness industry now who are starting to transition to keto. It's almost like they're allowed to say it because there's products being developed, right? So So like now, like the big names are like able to talk about it because they can market it now. It's like I got my angle.
Dude, yeah, back when you and I started, none of these companies were around. You were just you're a loony bin.
You're kind of like going against the grain to a
you were like, extent. Now there's all these companies behind it. It's like not as crazy.
No, it's cool. You probably have influenced this quite a bit, and not to like toot your horn about it, but like your journey and you kind of showing how hey, look, you can live this lifestyle. You could still be super fit. You could be jacked to, jacked to the gills and do keto
and eat
stay.
fat.
Yeah, right. So I think you see a lot of people in the fitness industry probably looking at you and saying, hey, I can
Yeah.
try that too. Of course, there's going to be other people who are looking at you and saying, ooh, I want to tap that market too. Like,
Yeah,
that's the weird
exactly.
part,
Exactly. I have noticed, and I'm sure you have too, Tristan, like how many people on YouTube that are like riding the keto bandwagon, but
Yeah, get on
for a
that wave while you
you
can.
know for a fact once that camera goes off, they're not doing keto. They ain't doing keto for
And
shit.
like a few months ago, they're like, keto sucks, it's terrible. And then suddenly
Yeah.
it's like, ooh, keto's profitable. Keto's got a big
Yeah,
audience.
exactly.
Yes, that you fake it to make it kind of thing. But that's what's cool about it's one of the things that's cool and that sucks about YouTube is the fake it to make it. It's like the content that's really valuable is not always going to be the content that is honest.
I
And
agree.
that's kind of how the stuff works. Like it's just how what's popular is not always what's true. I mean, look at the media, look at news, look at movies. It's like it's not giving us the real vision of reality. But that's why I like your channel. It's like you break down a lot of it. You're not afraid to be who you are, and you've made it
Yeah.
about. I like if you expanded and making it about family too, because I mean,
Yeah,
I
because
think
you're a
that's
family guy as well. And
yeah.
people and that's important to share with people, like that it's you can have balance, and then it's not just all about diet. It's like, dude, it's not like I spend 100% of my day thinking about diet. Like,
Right. How much do you think about you probably think about other people's diet quite a bit. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I spend this much time thinking about my diet every
none.
day.
And
I
that's the
wake up in the
beauty.
morning and I eat the same thing. I
Yeah,
like it.
that's the beauty of the diet, is that you don't feel like you're on a diet once you like get to our level. It's like, yeah, okay, now I can listen to you and your diet problems because I don't have any anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really important. It's just like you turn it into something that's a lifestyle, something you don't have to think about all the time, and
Yeah,
something you can maintain. You got to be able to maintain it for the rest of your
I
life. Like if
totally.
you want to lose body fat, it's not like you can just, I'm going to cut calories for 10 days and lose.
Yeah,
Well, no, how are you going to eat less foods that make you super hungry and that make you overeat for the
yep,
rest of your life?
yeah.
It's
The
not
trick
about how do
is,
I cut carbs out for a week. It's like, how do I restrict carbohydrates for the rest of my life and enjoy my life?
yeah, exactly. And that takes trial and error. That takes listening to guys like you who say one thing, guys that like me that say another, doing ultimately what works best for you, but taking both approaches into consideration and learning to, I always notice when with new people, it's like you got to get them over two obstacles, two humps. The first one is convincing them that it's actually carbohydrates, refined sugars, grains, starches, bread, cereal, pasta, bagels that's making you fat, not the fact that you eat too much food.
Yeah.
That's always a hard pill for people to swallow, who are just like counting calories, and they're like, wait a minute, what do you mean blood sugar? And so you get them over that hump, right? You're like, trust me, carbs make you fat and they kill you.
Or you don't have to don't bring them. You don't have to bring them all the way over the hump. You can just tell them, well, why do you want to eat so much food? Right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
it's like what makes us want to eat a bunch, and it's like it's
yeah,
always those carbs. Like the donuts make me want to eat more donuts.
yeah. So let them,
Whereas
so
like a
they realize,
steak, if I eat a steak, I'm not going to be hungry. Like I'm
yeah.
fine.
And then that's true. That's an interesting point. And
It's the
then
second.
once you get them over that hump, then it's like, okay, well, shit, here we go. And believe it or not, guys, fat does not make you fat. You've been lied to your whole life about that. Then their mind just goes.
Yeah,
But for those people who can actually embrace it, it just sets people free. Like it gives people so much hope.
absolutely. Nope,
So
cut
I
out
got
for a
another,
second.
I
You're
got
back.
another phone call coming in.
That's good. That's good. Well,
I'm gonna
maybe we should wrap it up.
I'm gonna
I've
have a lot of
had you
people
here
to
for
call back.
almost 2 hours now.
Have we really?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk forever. Like, I
So
love
can
this
I,
kind of
bro.
stuff. And
Well, I hope
it's
people
nice
enjoyed
having
it.
someone else on with you too, because usually it's just me blabbering, and Jessica will come and jump in every once in a while, but it's usually just me blabbering.
Well, we got to do this again, bro. I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
man. I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
glad I
down,
got it.
man.
Yeah, I'm glad I got a chance to get to know you better. Dude, you just do amazing stuff. I love your content, man. It helps me out big time. So all the best to your wife, Jessica, too. Tell her I said thank you for those cookbooks.
Thank you.
And keep spreading the good word, brother.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, it's been awesome. What we're gonna do is we're gonna end the transmission. I wanted to ask you more about Keto Quest, which
Oh, it's
is
all good.
you got 5 more minutes? I'd love to just
Yeah.
kind of hear about how did the Keto Quest thing come about? I mean, this is like, seems like
Yeah.
a totally different way of, it's like a community-based coaching type thing, which is, we've been working on kind of a community-based coaching platform, but what you've done here, it's really interesting. So
Yeah.
how's this going, man? What's
First
going
of
on?
all, for the community stuff, I suggest you just get a Facebook group, and put an affordable fee on it. I'm telling you, when people pay to be a part of a group, it's fascinating. That's probably one of the best things I ever did. I created the Keto King coaching group
Yeah.
on Facebook, and like, dude, it's amazing. Anyway, so you guys
Everyone's
should.
serious, right? And then when people get together, it's like they're bouncing energy off each other. They're helping each other
Yeah,
out.
and like, you got to
Yeah.
pay to get in, but
Yeah.
that's where I spend a lot of
Have
my
you ever
time.
have you ever used Discord? Have you ever used Discord?
No, I haven't. What is it?
All right, so Discord allows you to do a forum that
Oh,
you're
cool.
moderating, just like on Facebook, but also you've got live voice chat. So people can
That's
be in the
sweet.
Discord group, and you can have 20 people that are in there, and people can be talking to each other just like on their
Yeah.
device. So I think
It's
that's kind of,
interesting because guys like you and I do online private coaching as well, but I got to charge a fortune because,
yeah, you have such high demand, and you have
yeah,
no
you know how it
time.
is. And so you want
Yeah,
to be able to, and you're obviously putting a lot of free content on the internet through YouTube, which we'll always
yeah.
continue to do. But having that group coaching has been a great little addition for me to be able to help people on a more personal level. Anyways, Keto Quest was, so I ditched my old program, Keto Cycle. It was a cyclical ketogenic diet. Man, I used to hate watching your videos where you like slammed against carbing up. I was like, damn it, no. Like,
Oh, because you were in a cyclical keto, and you
yeah,
made the
yeah, yeah,
program,
yeah, yeah.
and you started like, I'm not
Yeah,
doing
and I
this
was like,
anymore.
I'm starting to feel like it's not the best strategy for me anymore. But
Yeah.
it was successful for a lot of people, but it backfired on a lot of people as well, for a lot of the reasons why you mentioned in your videos.
Right. So it was
And
like, it
so
was almost perfect, and then you saw a gap, right?
yeah, and I
There
was
was
like,
something
wait a
you
minute.
wanted to fix.
Yeah, because like I was giving, I even tried to make it to where, like, depending on your goal, depending on your level of carb up, and I tried to really keep it not like full blowout, but
Yeah.
people were still getting left in the gutter.
Yeah.
Like, carbs are a serious addiction, bro. Like, and if you give somebody, you say to somebody, hey, I need you to quit doing heroin for 2 weeks. Just give me 2 weeks, and then
Yeah.
I'll
And then you
give you,
do it once a week. It's all
and
good.
and then I'll give you a day where you can just have all the heroin you want. But it worked for a lot of people, but it backfired, and it was like very eye-opening for me to see like the more of like the psychological effect it had on people that I did not anticipate. So and and what I did was, when I was creating Keto Cycle, it was my first ever program that I released, right? And I was anti-counting calories, but I was getting advice from a lot of people in my industry who had successful programs. I went to them like, hey, how should I structure it? What should I charge for it?
Yeah.
All this stuff. And I would send them to the program, and they're like, yo, bro, if you don't put a calorie recommendation in here, you're going to get so much backlash. Like,
Yeah.
people are going to want their money back. They want their macros all figured out. So what I did was, and I talked about this openly already, or maybe you're hearing it here for the first time. What I did,
I'll be here to hear for the first time. I mean, I heard about the program, and I watched a lot of your videos, but I hadn't heard you explain this exactly.
yeah, so this is so despite how adamant I was against counting calories, I took the advice of people saying, listen, bro, just do it. Just give people a calorie number. And so what I did was I went online, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know what the formula is. And I researched for weeks, and I was just mulling over this in my head. And I'm like, everywhere I
Right, like
went, it was like,
you get the Navy calculator, right?
dude,
That's like
I
the
came
Navy
across,
calculator is the most like accurate
yeah.
one. You got to use
And I'm
that.
like, dude, holy shit, I'm getting like 100 different calculations. I got to pick one, apparently.
Yeah.
That's why I used the example earlier of like 10 different coaches, 10 different formulas. I went across hundreds of them. And dude, it just killed me, bro. I'm not even kidding you. It killed me. I felt like a sellout. I was being a sellout. And I
You
came
went
out with,
against what you really believed, because you
yeah,
were trying to make it, like, you're trying to help people. So
yeah,
you're taking advice of people trying to tell you, oh, you can reach more people if you do
yeah.
this.
Yep. And
So
I
it's like
went through,
you got
finally, I
tricked.
got to a point to where I was like, fine, I'll just take basically like a median average of all these different calculators. And I did it where it was like, take your body weight times 15. If you've got 30 plus more weight to lose, take your body weight times 12. If you want to do this, body weight times 10, super simple formula, praying to God I wasn't going to end up starving people to death.
Right.
Right. And then from that, it was like, okay, well, then now you can figure out your grams of protein, carbs, and fats. So again, we're back to exacts, which is total bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 118
Yeah.
grams
Yeah.
of protein. You have to,
Yeah. And so,
like,
dude,
what? Like, well, what if I eat 90 grams? Am I going to
and
shrivel? Like, I feel better at 90. Well,
and I was getting people that were like, hey, should I adjust it every 2 weeks? And I didn't put that in the program. I didn't think about that. I was like, oh shit, yeah, you'd have to probably adjust it. And then I'm
right.
thinking in my head, well, dude, you probably have to adjust it every single day because I don't know how many, I don't even know how many calories you're even eating or burning today. I'm not following you around. Anyway, so the moral that really weighed on me heavy, bro. I'm not even kidding you because at the same time I was also still preaching on YouTube, fuck calories.
Well, I mean, she's
But
like
if
a
you went and
good
bought
dude
my
with a good
program,
heart, and if you like, you're like me, man. If I feel conflicted about something, I will beat the shit out of myself until I like get straight with myself. And I think that's just
I just couldn't take it anymore. And on to compound it, like I said, the carb day was actually backfiring on a lot of people. So I completely ditched it, and I just pulled the plug on it.
You put a video out saying I'm
done.
done.
But then I also got caught. Yeah, that was a shame because in that video I explained what I'm just now explaining to you, but then I decided to take the bait and talk shit about another YouTuber. And so that was the wrong thing for me to do in that video.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Right? I've taken the bait many times.
Yeah,
It sucks.
I took it because I pretty much had my feelings hurt by the whole situation, and so I just let it be known. And then I realized after my mother called me and said, "Yo, what are you doing?" I took the video down. Anyways, so then I was like, I want to come out with a new program, but I have a big following and I want to move everybody. Like I want to challenge people. I want to reward people. It's more about that. I have sponsors that I can get money from to pay for shit. You know what I mean? Like, let me just use their money. And so I did an ongoing transformation challenge. Wow, that's a really long story short here. Ongoing transformation challenge. You sign up once. You pay $30. Actually, if you use the coupon code Denver, I think you get $5 off. And every single month.
It's not like it's just a transformation challenge where it's just like you alone. It's like these people are communicating with each other.
Yeah. So everybody's because it's not like I didn't want it to be like 30-day transformation challenge. Then after 30 days, what happens? You just lose people. It's like, okay, now what? I made it 30 days. So I was like, yo, screw that. We'll just come out with new prizes every month. Sign up whenever the hell you want. That's your day one. At the end of every month, you can upload a new progress picture and you got a chance to win. The longer you stay on it, the more likely you are to win. So the first winner we just had, we're flying them to like the Arnold Classic. That's sponsor money, baby. And the transformations were absolutely incredible. But the cool part was I didn't have to let anybody down after the 30 days. You should do something like this. You and Jessica should put something together.
This is kind of what we're going to. So the program we've got, and I'd love, maybe we could talk after about like ask questions about how, but what we're doing is we want to do like a group-based coaching where we can have group Discord chat. So in the Discord server, you can like have it so there could be 20 people and everyone's talking to everybody. It's like, so we want to be able to do customizable stuff where people can have access to us and we can answer questions. But at the same time, the goal is to train everybody so that everybody can answer everyone else's questions.
Yeah, it will turn into
everybody into a little me. No,
yeah, exactly. No,
I want to arm everyone to where it's like, you don't need me. Like you go off on your own. It's like, you don't need to come back to me every month for new macros. Here's how you set it up. Here's how you adjust as you move on.
Yeah.
So it's just
you should do that. That's a good direction to go in. You'll be surprised.
Because I mean, we get so many. I get a lot of private coaching inquiries. I can only meet with. I've set it up now to where I'm only meet with one client a day. I don't meet multiple clients a day because
it's
the
hard,
time that it takes, the emotional burden that not it's burdensome, but it's like just emotionally and psychically and energetically, I can only talk to people for so long, or then I'm drained. So
I know I'm with you. And the group setting, it just makes it so much more tolerable and you can impact more people. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'd be more than happy to help you out any way possible. But the challenge thing is so far been amazing because it's like you keep people going.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you didn't win this month, but like appreciate the journey and not like some short societal way of saying, oh, you got 30 days to be shredded, like all this like 6-minute abs. This
Yeah, check this out. Look at this.
you
I'll
know.
show you something funny. Like this. This is from Cosmo magazine in 1929.
Wow.
1929 Cosmopolitan magazine. Look at this ad. New charm, new beauty.
Wow, new health. And what the hell is it?
This is 15-minute abs in
Oh
1929.
my god.
Basically
dude.
15-minute. All right, so it says this 15-minute way, and then at the bottom here, it's hard to read because the camera doesn't focus automatically. She says, Dorothy Knapp proclaimed the world's most beautiful girl. So it's like it's the same programming.
She's got a lot of Instagram followers too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, she had like a billion Instagram followers back then. She was a fitness industry, the guru of the fitness industry in 1929. So yeah, but it's like the same ads, dude. And this is just a machine that like shakes your ass. It's like this is just it's a rotating mechanism with like a band, and it just moves the girl's butt around.
That is crazy.
That's 1929. Same programming, the same thing. It's like, oh, and look at the cover. I like the cover of Cosmo magazine in 1929 was even better. It's just as insidious as today.
Wow.
Like, what are those eyes? Like, what is this lady thinking about?
That's sultry.
Look at the this is 1929. Like, all right, so then the book she's reading, The Madness. The first honest novel about love ever written. So it's like same thing, like programming women to be like super lustful, and it's just all about like it's same crap, man. 1929.
That is crazy.
Everyone wanted the 15-minute solution, and we get marketed the 15-minute solution really, really intensely. Now, I think there's
people like me that can use, and this is one thing, Tristan, I tell you this right now, I will never sell out, meaning like I will never take my physique and use it for bad to sell you bullshit, because you know how easy it would be for me to do that. And
yeah, exactly. You could just be like, I did this with this supplement.
Yeah. Look, there's my abs. Here's my supplement. Take that shit. That's the one thing that I'm glad that I separate myself from a lot of other people in my industry. I'm not a sellout. Yeah. And it's just sad to see how many, like, I scroll through my Instagram and I see my contemporaries who have more followers than me sell just absolute pipe dream bullshit product.
And where those followers come from, though. All right, so we got to keep it in perspective. It's like a lot of those followers is not organic, right? So it's like, yeah, you got followers, but how much of that is like India clickbait stuff? Like how much?
Oh, dude, dude, people buy followers. You know how you can tell if somebody buys followers or not? This is a very interesting little trick. So apparently you cannot buy followers. So when you buy followers, you can also buy likes. That's why now they sell them as like a package deal, because it would look silly if you had a bunch of followers and no likes. Yeah. So you got to buy likes too. But interestingly, you can't buy likes on videos. So if you're suspicious of somebody buying followers, go to a video they post, click on views, and it'll show you how many likes they have, and it'll always be super low compared to their regular posts.
That's funny.
Isn't that interesting? So yeah, next time you're like,
I got a question for you. All right, so your like to view ratio, I find that like 10% about, right?
Yeah, like, about that. Yeah, almost on all platforms.
And but you're like me, you don't beg for likes. I like that.
No, dude.
I like your video because you don't go, come on, guys, just give me a like.
Yeah, guys, remember to tap that like button and give it. No, dude, that's just.
It doesn't help. I don't do it. I won't like you. If you tell me to like your stuff, I'm not gonna. If you don't say anything about liking it, you just give me content. I like it.
You shouldn't have to say shit. You should just be able to sit back, deliver valuable content, be yourself. If they like it, they like it. I'm not insecure enough to where I need you to like my shit.
Right. And it's a game. So there's the funny thing about like the social media algorithms, and I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like I go back and forth all the time between like, okay, so you put out content, you put your heart into it, you want it to be good, you want it to resonate with people. The most popular content ends up being the stuff where you're just like, oh man, that was a throwaway video. It was like, the 5 top error, like how to cut your hair on keto. Like what? It's like, what is it? How many ounces of water do I need on keto? Yeah. Or what is the 5 biggest mistakes that everyone, like, these are my most popular videos. Or like, I made that video in 5 minutes in response to some random email I got, and that's like the most popular video I've ever gotten. Why is this? Well, it's not because it's the best content. A lot of it just has to do with algorithms. Like a lot of it just has to do with like YouTube selects your stuff if it has these keywords.
And apparently, just FYI, I'm sure you know this, but apparently there's the 10-minute rule where if your video has to be above 10 minutes in order to really get in the search engine on the recommended thing on the side. Look into that. Because
that's cool because all my videos are super long because I just babble.
Then you're good. Yeah, so then you're good.
That's my strategy.
No, but I think it is interesting. Like, you don't realize when you're creating something, you think it might be garbage and it turns out to be gold. I think the name of the game is just keep creating. Like, you don't even know what's going to hit, but just keep creating.
Well, what's hard for me is because it's like, all right. So I tell myself I don't care what hits, but then at the end it's like, okay, you're also running a business and it is based on attention. So it's like, I go back and forth between just being like, screw it, I don't want more subscribers. I just want people for real. And then going, wait, I do want more people to watch my video.
Yeah, but
get more penetration into people. Like, so it's fun.
Bro, I got the answer for you. Just keep doing videos without your shirt on. You're good.
Right,
that's all you need, bro.
Well, good thing I never wear a shirt, and I live in a place where I never need to wear a shirt.
Yeah, see, it looks better when you don't have a shirt on because you're in the damn jungle. I look like an idiot if I'm like in my living room without my shirt on, bro.
Technically, all right. So just for the audience out there, and for Jason, who I'm sure
it's not a real rainforest.
We'll take a trip out to Ecuador sometimes. We don't live in the jungle. I wouldn't live in the jungle. I'm not jungle friendly. I don't like humidity. I don't like super high heat. And I grew up in Southern California, spoiled brat with really nice weather. So the reason I live here, I'm total spoiled brat environmentally. We live in the Andes in like the mountains, and it's very green, and there's a lot of natural like good life around. But it's not the jungle.
The jungle.
Like, the jungle is miserable. The jungle, if you have a book, it just gets withered and eaten away.
Crazy.
Your computers die. There's mosquitoes everywhere. There was
a famous explorer, and he wrote a book. Oh man, I'm not gonna think about it. And he was the first person to map South America, and he crossed over it. Damn it, I'm not gonna think of his name.
Which one? What was it? What happened to him?
He ended up getting lost in the middle of the jungle. Nobody ever found him. He was
Percy.
Percy something.
Yeah,
that's it, bro. They wrote a book. I read that book a long time ago.
The Lost City of Z.
Yes, dude, that's it. Dude, now it's coming back to me.
I'm Indiana Jones on the down low. That's part of why I came. I'm obsessed with like lost civilizations and like ancient history, everything. Dude, there's people like you talk to any Ecuadorians, and every single one of them has relatives who've seen giant bones. Every single one of them's got stories of caves with crazy stuff in them, including
it's
giant
wild
bones.
Dude.
So there's wild stuff in South America, and that's the part of his story.
I hope I can get down. I hope I can get a chance to come down there and see you, bro. Honestly, it'd be cool to
cruise down, man. It's easy to come here. So like if you fly,
I wonder how expensive plane tickets are. They can't be that expensive,
dude. You and your family could probably. All right, so round trip tickets from Miami are, I think, a little under $300 to Ecuador.
Oh, cool, sweet.
So that's
doable. It's really doable. I think we put a pretty killer. I could fly my drone down there, bro.
Dude, the drone footage here.
I'd love to take my drone down there, man.
Oh, like if you like drone footage, man. Like I make videos sometimes. I'll make a video just because I want an excuse to put drone footage in it. I love drones.
I know, bro. I still get so nervous when I fly mine, though. I don't know why. I
crash my. Do you have a Mavic? What do you use?
I have a Mavic.
Yeah, that's the best.
So I had Goody Beats. Goody Beats here, and we did a video together, and he whipped out his drone, and he's gone through like 4 of them. He's like one of those guys. He'll like fly it downtown. He doesn't give a shit. I'm like a grandpa driving mine, bro.
My first day, I crashed my Mavic into my wall of my house. The first day I used it, and I thought I killed it. And
it's pretty indestructible.
It takes 2 to 4 weeks for me to receive anything here in the mail. So I was so pissed. I was so happy to have it. I was running out of battery, and it started beeping at me. And then it started trying to land automatically. Looking down, it's trying to land on a tree. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh no.
Get control. And I'm pushing the buttons. And finally it gives me control back. and I'm like 100 yards away from my house. So I floor it right at the house. And I actually have video of first person of the drone flying into the wall. But and then I'm looking, I'm like, I'm gonna make it. It's like 3% battery. And then the thing, I hear it because, you know, beep, beep, beep. The thing's beeping at me, which freaks me out, makes me stressed out. I'm like, ah. I fly it straight towards the house, and I try to reverse, and it just smashed into the wall.
Dude,
I
that
broke
would be
some
my
of the
worst nightmare.
I broke the propellers, and the gimbal came out of it, but I just put the gimbal back in, and now it works
It
perfect.
just fit back in. Dude, it's pretty indestructible, man. Surprisingly, I've seen videos where people like beat the hell out of it, and it still works. But
They're tough.
But yeah,
I love it. So here, the drone footage, like where we live in this valley here, it rains at night for like half the year. Like there's a rainy season. So last night it was raining a whole bunch. And then so everything's saturated with rain, and then it gets foggy. And then the sun starts coming up and coming over, and all the rain gets electrified and starts rising up. So if you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's just like these cloud banks are just rolling around the hills, and you could send the drone into them.
Oh, that's dope. That would be cool.
So fun. I love it.
Yeah, man. And I just love to come down there, bro. So you never know. One day.
Come hang out. Yeah, if I ever come out to the States, I'll try to make it through Colorado too. I've never been to Colorado. I've always wanted to go. My brother
It's a cool place. I could see you liking it.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's like super outdoors. Looking at the mountains never gets old, as you know. It's just everybody's cool. Everybody's eclectic here. They're all like, they're outdoorsy. I really like the energy here, you know, like it's cool. Like nobody's like, it's kind of like a transplant city as well. So you kind of have that, all right, we're all kind of like, you know, making this our own type of thing.
I like that. You know, it's like if there's too much of a localism, like you want, I like when there's like a localist type scene of like, you know, local food and stuff like that. But it's always nice when there's people who've experienced other things in life. Like I'm sure, like if you go back to the town that you were born in, most of the people that live there still are like, you know, they're doing the same things.
Yeah, they sure are.
To like
thank God I got out. The biggest risk of all is not taking one is the number one lesson I learned in life, bro. The biggest risk of all is not taking one. I'm so glad I bounced, and I'm sure you can say the same thing. It's scary as hell, but comfortable. They say to live defeated is to die every day. But
yeah, no, I mean, it's like, well, I mean, just having kids, it's like a major leap of faith, right? And I think that
scary stuff, man. Thank God for them too, right?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Well, then, how about quitting your job and working, you know, making your own business? Like there's
working for yourself.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. But I hope everybody got a lot out of our conversation. I know I did, man. So
right on. All right. So I'm going to end it. You guys can find more at jasonwittrock.com. You got to check out Jason's YouTube channel called Jason Wittrock. He's in the middle of the 21-day #war on sugar. You guys want to join in on the war on sugar? And if you want to contact him, hit him up on his website. Check out Keto Quest. What's the website for Keto Quest?
KetoQuest.com. Thank you, brother.
Oh, KetoQuest.com for a group-based experience that seems like it's kind of like nothing else out there as far as getting started on keto goes. So, Jason, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Much love, bro.
End the broadcast now.